I've been making YouTube videos for man, coming up on 4 years. Making gaming content, not definitely not as consistently as I have been for like the last year and a half, but
Mhm.
it wasn't really going nowhere. And then I had this one conversation with some random black girl in some comment section, and it made me so angry. And I made a video about how um, it was like one of those videos where it's just like your face and then like there's text over it.
Mhm.
And I made a comment about how exhausting it is that black people constantly use something that happened 400 years ago that has no bearing on their life today, as an excuse to justify why they've gotten nowhere in life. And
Right.
it absolutely blew up in like 3 4 hours. And then I made another one and it did the same thing. And then I started ranting because I've always loved just talking about stuff, and I'm very opinionated. I just enjoy just talking my shit, and it just kept growing and growing and growing, and then I started talking about political stuff and social stuff and issues within the church, and it just got to where it is now. So I'm in the process of trying to build my other platforms, as much as my Instagram is. So I'm using it more now. Like I do try and keep up with like the daily rants and reels and stuff, just because that's where like the most of my like anybody that knows me, they more than likely know me from Instagram. So I want
Yeah.
to keep that up, but I also am just using it as promotion from all my other stuff because I do really enjoy streaming and broadcasting myself, and I just being like the idea of being self-employed is just really enticing to me because I'm not a fan of my job. I think it's soul sucking. I don't hate it. I work in a hospital and it's nice. Like I have cool coworkers and
Mhm.
the workflow is cool. They give you a decent work life balance, but it's just not for me. I've just always known that I felt out of place. And I'm like, all these people, the only thing that they're worried about is like sports and going to concerts and mainstream media trash. And I'm like, you guys are
Yeah.
bots. You have no idea what's going on in the
Normies.
world. Yeah,
Normies are crazy.
straight normies, bro. Um, but I did not want to. Oh, I'm live now. On my other platforms, I'll probably post a link on my story. But
Okay, I'm live too. I'm on YouTube and Kick. I
okay, so
would want to do Rumble too, but well, Rumble's just like a bitch to like link on to the multi-streaming stuff. I don't know why, but every time I try to stream, I try to add on Rumble. It's just like it
mhm.
doesn't show up. And then you gotta like go into Rumble and get the link, and then you gotta almost it's like Rumble wants you to do it from their platform itself. And it's like,
So does
bro.
TikTok. It's so annoying.
Yeah, TikTok is like you gotta get the I heard you gotta pay for a stream key and do like a loophole to be able to multi-stream TikTok. That's what I heard.
What I, what I used to do, because I got deleted like over a year ago, but I had a page where I was just doing like gaming commentary and streaming myself playing games, and
Mhm.
it blew up a little bit. And what I was doing was I would go into OBS and I would right click on my video sources,
Mhm.
and I would window them, and then I would project the
Ah, yeah.
window version of the video source into the TikTok stream app. And now they don't even let you do that anymore. Like they force you to take the one OBS source into their app, and it's just so greedy. So I don't even waste my time on there anymore.
Interesting.
But
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
the reason why I wanted to talk to you is not because I had any sort of specific bone to pick with you. Nothing. I never saw something and I was like, "Hey, what the heck is this guy talking about?" It was never anything emotional like that.
Hmm.
I just thought you were freaking hilarious, and I was like, I feel like me and this guy could have a nice conversation. It would be
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
I am so curious, bro. What in the world is jester maxing?
Jester maxing. You don't know what jester maxing is?
I've never, bro. You said I was like, what is he talking about? I never heard of that in my life.
Bro, you've never heard of jester maxing?
I've
Stop it, bro.
never heard of. I feel like an unk right now, bro. I've never heard that in my life.
How old are you?
24.
Bro, I'm older than you. I'm 26.
I had no idea what that means, bro.
Bro, so you know what like gesture, like you know what
Like being a
gesture is?
clown.
Yeah. But I think I just got that from like Clav because they be like talking in their own vernacular, like they got their own words
Oh, little
and
lingo.
yeah, on lingo, like black pill type of community, they be saying like their own type of lingo. And when I see it, it's just like it just fits so what they the words they use, it's just like, oh yeah. Cause I be trying to say something like that, but I don't have that word in my vocab.
Hmm.
And it's just like, bro, their words that they have, it's like the words that I would say, but I just haven't. I'd be getting vocab from every place. So,
I know,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I just liked a lot of their like
A good artist
gesture.
steals from everybody.
Exactly, bro. And it's crazy because I feel like this is like the first white person vocab lingo because usually it's black people that start the lingo.
They sure
And
do.
yeah, but like Clav and them, like they're really making words. Like think about it. No white person is made like YOLO. That was like Drake. Swag was like us.
Yeah.
Drip. We everything is like black people, but like white people, they made all this. Well, Clav and them, they really starting a new wave, and I like it because it's like it's insightful. It's like intuitive. It's like gesture, like your gesture. It's science. It's science
Straight up
too.
clown. So like,
That's why, yeah,
which
gesture maxing
context
is
is
just
it?
like max, like looks maxing is just like you're maximizing your looks. So
Mm,
gesture maxing is just like, bro, you're acting like a clown, but like you're doing too much. You're just clown. You're clowning out. You're clown maxing. You know.
is it like is it like as a generality, or is it someone making a fool of themselves in the context of like trying to impress a female, or both?
You could use it to in the in the what's it called, sense of impressing a female, but it's just clown. Like it's just anything that's clown activity. It is just a gesture. You know what a gesture
Got
is?
you.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
same thing. Like when you're trying to talk to a woman and people would be like, "Bro, you're a clown." But jester, I feel like the adjective is when you're using it in a woman sense, it's like you're doing too much. Like you're going overboard, You're jester
Overcompensating.
maxing. Not really overcompensating, but it's just like say if you talk
Peacocking,
to
I
a
guess.
not peacocking, no, no, no. Say you're talking to
Okay.
a female, right? And you're trying to be cool and stuff, and you're being cool, and then you're on a two-man with your homie and he's talking to a female, and you see him like just like doing dance moves and shit, and like he's like doing all this. It's like, bro,
Oh,
he's
that's
he's
cringe.
jester maxing, like he's doing
Okay.
too much you
Okay,
know
I got you.
it
Bro,
could be anything in that sense.
I busted out laughing when I heard you say that. That was so funny.
I
Um,
didn't make that up though. That's Clav and them. I gotta give credit to them.
well, no, it's just like it was the tone because you're so like when you're talking in your videos, you maintain the same octave. Like you're not extra loud, you don't get quiet, and it's like the nonchalant like monotone way that you said it. I was like, bro, that shit it got me. That was hella funny.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely think that we agree on more than we disagree on, like objectively. Um, I guess we could talk about like the heavier, like political stuff in a little bit, but I guess like the more lighthearted stuff. Um, I, I get the whole social media thing. So I never assume that a creator is being like 100% dead serious when they're making a video because I exaggerate a lot just for the sake of it and
I'm
may
100% dead
like
serious, bro.
100,000%.
100%. Like this is who
Okay.
I am. If you ask my friends, bro, if I put my cousin on this thing right now, he would
Mhm.
be like, yeah, like, dude, something's wrong with him. Something's wrong with him. I'm Thanksgiving every day. It's like I'm 7v1 with my cousins. I'm going at it. But no,
That's like a funny.
yeah, this is This is, I think that's probably why the videos hit a little bit more, like how you were saying, um, I'm nonchalant with it. It's because like that's kind of how I actually talk. So it's not
Hmm.
like I'm trying to go like Chester Maxon and then see if it works. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that shit anyway. So it's,
exactly. You had a There was a video I saw the other day, um, and it was essentially saying like you don't see the necessity of dating as a generality if you're not rich and famous. And I was like, I don't really agree with that. So I didn't want to assume intent or if you were exaggerating at all. So I'll create stance that you have.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What about all of the tens of millions of married men with families that are not rich and famous? Because like you certainly do not. It's not a bar to meet because if everybody was famous, somebody was famous. So like
Hmm.
where like to what extremity do you take that? Like let's say there was just I don't know what your type is. So like let's just say you're whatever type that you have that is what you are the most attracted to. She's docile, uh, submissive, kind, and she's not looking because she wants a man. She's looking because she wants to be a good woman. So
Hmm.
because you're not at the Mount Everest peak that you've reached yet, you wouldn't even entertain it.
Um, well, it would be a risk, right? And this is kind of what I'm getting into. That's kind of the point of the thing, is because if you're not rich and famous, let's say I found a perfect woman. Well, in order for me, in order for me to lead her in the way that I need to for her to maintain her being a perfect woman, because perfect women, every woman was a perfect woman at one point, and then they fell off the path. They probably watched like Euphoria or something, or like they went on Snapchat and they saw the cesspit that we live in. Every single like everything in the world is getting women to be like whores. They're trying so hard to make women go on this hot girl summer and be like a whore. So unless she has a strong father or a strong husband and they both know God, then I mean she's gonna fall off the path. So here's the thing though. You have to have certain things in order to get that leadership role, to get that authority role. I can't be broke and irrelevant and be like, okay, we're going to church this day. You can't wear this. You can't do this. Your friends are they're single and they're whores. Don't listen to them and do this because that's just women don't listen to men that can't provide for them, um, and can't like they can't provide for them in a family. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, in order to eat, because a lot, you said a lot of guys are married without, a lot of money and stuff like that. And that's true.
Mm.
But they are in the authority role. Like, their wife isn't fully submitting to them. A lot of those guys are in sexless marriages. There's like 30-40% of marriages are sexless. And a lot of those women are going out doing whatever they want. So, in my ideal marriage, is kind of what I'm saying. My ideal marriage where, hey, the woman is fully submitted to the man. The man has authority of the home. This is a rare thing. So that's what I'm talking about. Like you need those things in order to like protect your wife from the world because everybody's gonna try to get her to be a whore. So that's more what I'm talking about.
I don't disagree. I definitely don't disagree, but I guess the well with that statement, I do disagree with the sentiment that you have to reach Mount Everest before it's easier to maintain the frame of a relationship
Well,
because
not Mount Everest, but
well, just your
you get the
personal your perceived individual level of success where you'd be comfortable to take that leap.
I'd say
So I
above
guess my
six
question,
figures.
okay, I guess my next question is, would you rather have a woman that loved you while you ran the race, or that will only love you and listen to you after you cross your finish line?
Mm, well, here's the thing. Uh, that's just a tricky question because love doesn't love isn't really like what I what's necessary. It's like respect and admiration. Because love, I mean, okay, she can love me while I run the race. Like a lot of girls have loved me before, but at a certain point, the positions that I'm putting her in, me not being able to provide, us living probably in like a wet 1 bedroom apartment, I'm like missing rent. The love is gonna start to fade if I can't be that man. So what how you said she loves me while I'm running the race. It's like, yeah, but how long is that love gonna last before like shit starts hitting the fan? Because I mean, there's homeless guys that are great personality, charismatic, funny, caring, that a lot of girls would love, but if they got in a relationship, that love's gonna start to fade. We're, hey, where's the roof over our head? Things like that. So love is a feeling. It's fleeting. I don't want to. It doesn't really matter to me if she loves me or not. You know, while I'm
I
running the
think love is
race.
more of an action.
Yeah, but how
Like
long
it's
does
a
love last?
uh man. It's sad because
Is it conditional or unconditional?
real love is unconditional. Real if love is a feeling to a woman instead of an action, I feel like that's a big red flag. Um
It's always a feeling though. Unless it's your mom, I feel like, then it's conditional. Because if you go homeless, there's no way that your wife is going to stay with you.
if I went homeless, my wife would absolutely stay with me. And
For how
I
long?
would for indefinitely until we figured it out.
That's okay until you figured it out. That's what I'm saying.
Well, because I wouldn't just become homeless and just give up on life and be like, okay, let's just become fin addicts on the street.
Well, if you
Like there would
did,
have to be a
if you did, what would happen?
well, that's different from falling into a bad situation and becoming a homeless drug addict. I feel like
So it's conditional then, because there's conditions. That's what I'm saying.
I because that's not what she signed up for. Because she met me as somebody that is an ambitious go-getter,
Hmm.
and so if I became something that I no longer presented myself to be further in the relationship, then that's no longer fair to her. If I chose to give up on life and live in a tent in San Francisco and ship myself,
Hmm.
that's a much different situation. Than we fell on some hard times and we had to move in with family for a while till we got back on our feet. I feel like that's definitely a different extreme.
I agree.
But
I agree, and I agree
yeah,
with the whole situation. But that's the point though. Is she's there for you and the ambition and the go-getterness. Those because people are like, do you want her to like you for you? But like those are the things, those are the characteristics that like attracted her. Like you're ambitious, you're a go-getter, you're a hard worker. So like when those leave, you're not ambitious anymore, you're not hard worker. It's like, well, then there's no reason for her to stay. Same with the reasons that you liked her for, there's also reasons and things that she bring to the table. And yeah, so that's all I'm saying. I feel like um it's those things that are gonna like keep the relationship intact. Because I feel like there is no unconditional love unless it's like your mom. Because you said, oh well, if I went broke and I'm doing Fent and I'm in San Francisco, of course, but your mom's still gonna love you if you're doing that. Your mom's still gonna be there. So it's like,
my wife would still love me, but she would remove herself from the situation until I got my shit together.
well, I mean, that's not love, man. if you
So
removing yourself from the situation, because your mom would be there, right? She would be there.
she would exhaust
And
every
this is
single thing
also a
within
hypothetical.
her human
You
limitations.
also don't know this though, but I'll grant that. But
I think I do.
how? Okay,
Like,
so
okay,
how long can you be homeless? Because you keep on saying like until I get back, or until she works it out, or until she's gonna help me get back. Like, let's say you're homeless. Like, how long do you have? Because there's gonna be a timer.
I I am I care and love my wife so much that I wouldn't allow her safety and well-being is such a priority in my life that I wouldn't allow us to be homeless. But within the context of the hypothetical,
Hmm.
let's say that did happen. Um, I don't even think I think 6 months. I would give it 6 months maximum within that hypothetical
Hmm.
before not she stopped loving me, but she'd be like, "Listen, if this is what you want, I'm gonna stay loyal to you. I'm gonna go move back in with my mom, or go stay with my cousins or something, or stay with my
Hmm.
best friend. Um, and like come back to me when you're ready to get your life back on track and be who I know that you are." I think it would be more of a situation like that. It wouldn't be, "Oh, you're homeless now. You lost your money. Okay, well, goodbye." Like it wouldn't be like that at all because
Okay, so she went to go live with family. So how long do you have while you're homeless before she like moves on?
indefinitely. Because she
Okay, that's crazy, bro.
the reason why it's not crazy is because she fears God more than she fears the consequences of a fleshly marriage, and she made a commitment for the rest of her life. And I've done things that I thought were extremely minor
Hmm.
in the grand scheme of things that really made her sad, and I could tell that I broke her heart because of how seriously that she takes her marriage covenant. And she's shown me things where I like. Now, I am not saying this is the majority of women at all. I am very blessed. I think that I found a unicorn because there is not a bone in that woman's body that is unfaithful. And the first thing
It's
that
not
she
even
does
about
whenever
unfaithful. I'm just talking about like how like bum like how much of a bum, like how much does your life have to get wrecked before, because there is like conditions in the Bible that you can get a divorce, right?
Mhm.
So I wouldn't even I wouldn't even say it's like a bad thing on the wife's part, because if if I had a daughter, I wouldn't want her to marry a bum either. I wouldn't want her to marry someone that doesn't have money. I wouldn't want her to marry somebody that can't provide for her. Like, I wouldn't want that. So, these things, like, because we have to protect women, we have to provide for our women, we have to, like, be a leader, So, that means that comes with a lot of, like, characteristics and attributes that we have to have. So, it's like if we take away all those characteristics and attributes, it's like, why would we expect a woman to still love us or still be there? It's almost like, what what's the point? Now I understand divorce is different because now this is a biblical thing, but I'm just talking about as far as just attraction and love and like feelings in general.
Mhm. Oh, I had a great dang it just slipped my mind. I had a great follow-up question. I do think it would be extremely selfish, short-sighted, and I don't know if maybe evil is too much of an extreme word, but I think you would truly be abusing a woman as a man if you decided to embrace being a homeless, unemployed loser. and you in a made her exist in a situation that she didn't sign up that she did not sign up for.
That's why if
Because
she left, I would understand it. That's what I'm saying.
right. No, no, I would too.
Yeah.
If I decided to become a homeless fen zombie and my wife left me, I would not for one, I would not expect it because
Mm-hmm.
she fears God, and any and every single time we've ever had an issue, the first she doesn't go to her friends, she doesn't go to her mom.
Mm-hmm.
The first place she goes is the Word of God every single time, and I have observed that, and that is one of the reasons why I absolutely adore that woman.
Mm-hmm.
So it would certainly be an abuse of trust, I think, and I would be completely and utterly failing as a man if I allowed something like that to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I wouldn't, especially and definitely within the context of the flesh, I wouldn't condemn a woman for doing that either. Um, so I think in one of the aspects that men cause issues for themselves is because they don't follow God's word when they look for a woman. And I think so many men want the eye candy, they want
Mm-hmm.
the doll on their arm, they want what is going to satisfy their flesh instead of what God has ordained for their lives. And a Proverbs 31 woman is exactly the that's the framework of the kind of woman that you should be looking for. And anything short of that would be settling. Now, I'm not saying that there's not women that can't grow into that and they can't develop those characteristics that are outlined in the Bible, but I think
Mm-hmm.
most men could avoid so many needless issues if they followed the biblical blueprint instead of wanting the hottest girl or the girl with the biggest ass or the girl with the nicest boobs. And like you're I didn't I didn't find my wife from my own volition. I wasn't like I'm ready for a partner now because I wasn't. The only thing I was focused on was the mission, was getting my name as big as possible, growing all my platforms, um, garnering as much attention as I possibly could get to myself for
Was she
my
famous?
goal. Not the famous part I don't really care about.
Well, that's attention.
The It's just that with
You
what I
just
want to do,
described like fame.
well, if I could talk just to my camera and nobody else and nobody knew who I was and I could make the kind of money that I would want to, then I would do that. I literally I need zero validation. I don't need anybody to clap for me. I am my own person with my own thoughts, and I don't need anybody to pat me on the back or substantiate the way that I see the world for myself. Or like the attention economy thing. I don't care whatsoever about it.
Well, you just described you was like I'm trying to get as much attention. I'm trying to garner like an audience. Like that's
Only
fame.
because I know that that's a prerequisite in order to do this as a career. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. It's not that
Okay.
I want people to watch me. It's that I want to do this, and in order to do this as a job, I have to have people watch me. So that was the only thing that I was focused on. I wasn't.
Well, what, there's nothing
uh
wrong with fame though. Like there's nothing wrong with.
no, no, no. I didn't say that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just not something that satisfies me or that I'm looking for necessarily. I just know that I need it in order to do what I want to do, which is things like this. I just love combating ideas and
Hmm.
learning more things about different people that see the world in different ways. Um, so it's more so leveraging the fame in order to uh, funnel it to my career path essentially. Dang, where was I going with this? Damn it. Oh, so I did not meet her because I was looking for her. I was I wasn't dating. I wasn't really paying attention to women like that. And she came into my life because the Lord wanted her in my life. And I was ready. I was mature enough. I was man enough. I had learned enough from my previous relationships, from my previous engagement. And God prepared me to now have this woman come into my life. And when it was like within 7 days of talking to her, I was like, this is my wife. This is my wife. And my parents and everybody around me was telling me, like, relax, pump the brakes. And I'm like, I'm not speeding into anything. But it's like when you know that you know that you know, there's nothing that's going to make you backpedal on that. Like when you really find that person that is like, this woman compliments me in every single area and aspect of my life. And the reason why I'm extrapolating into this is because so many men don't wait for that. They're not patient on God and they feel like, okay, what can I do for self? How can I make my income? How can I create my career? Seek first the kingdom of heaven and all these things will be added unto you. It's you don't have to build a career for yourself. You don't have to think that you have to carry the load of your destiny. You take the talents that God gave you and you wait on what he put on your heart and instructed you to do, and then you let him use you for his glory. And there's so many men that think to themselves, I have to make so much money. I have to have so many people thinking about me and looking at me. And I need this to get this because I want to drive this type of car and I want this type of house and I want this type of lifestyle. And it's just like those things are so fleeting and it's a very flesh minded place to be. It's not a spirit led endeavor. All those things, you're not taking any of that with you, and none of that is going to matter on Judgment Day. Absolutely none of it. Now, that doesn't mean don't be ambitious. That's not a license to be lazy. It's not a license to not try in life. Of course not. But at the same time, when that is what is fulfilling your spirit, and that is everything that you're concerned with, or at least the monopoly of what you're concerned with, it is not conducive to walking within God's will. And that gets paired so much with the look for women because they're trying to leverage their lifestyle and leverage their resources to make a woman eye candy that and submit to them. I could have negative $400 in my checking account and my wife would still listen to me and she would still make me dinner and she would still do all these little things because she's not looking for a husband. She wanted to be a wife. That was her. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to honor God in a long lasting, love filled, biblical commitment for the rest of her life, and sickness and health, richness and poor. And she's not she's not looking for those things so that she can be taken care of. She wasn't looking for a daddy. And I do take care of her in every single way that I can, but it's not because she's not with me for what I have. She's with me because God showed her that I am her husband. So there's no outside factors that are going to sway her or make her love me less unless I did something that is biblically outlined as a reason to divorce. So it's not that I think that your worldview is incorrect. I think in a lot of ways it's exactly correct because most women are um, uh, hypergamous and they are looking for how can I get taken care of? How can I have a man that's going to pay for all these dates? And she, I think that looking for, anytime you look for a woman, I think you're going to fail. And when you pray about it and when you give it to God and you just live your life, if the Lord blesses you with that, then so be it. But I think a lot of guys want what they want out of a relationship and out of a woman more than they want what God wants for their life. And that is why there are so many divorces. That's why there's so many sexless marriages. It's because They didn't wait on God. God didn't tell you to marry that person. You married that person. You wanted that chick because you wanted that arm candy. You wanted that validation. You wanted that self-aggrandizement and approval from everyone around you. You wanted the pat on your back from your coworkers and your friends. And this isn't led by love in the spirit. This is led by your desire for outward validation by having arm candy. And if we can move away from that, and if we can move more to giving all, like casting all of our anxieties onto God and letting Him bless us with what He'll bless us with and do what He'll do with our situations in life, I think that so many people would alleviate themselves from so many headaches of trying to force something that wasn't in God's will to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said. Um, and I don't think you're disagreeing with anything I'm saying. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
talking about because that's all like a spiritually kind of that's like spiritually the 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 next layer. Like when you go into it, the why, that is the why. And I agree with that, you know. And but at the end of the day, I feel like not a lot of people are talking about what you need to have as a man, or they're not emphasizing it. You know, a lot of people are trying to like, that's why I talk about what I talk about. Like, you need to be rich, you need to be famous, you need to be strong, you need to be handsome, you need to be these things, because people talk about everything else and they don't talk about like a lot of things that would actually help you. And if you, because I mean, I follow God, and God is gonna show you um the wife that you should have, and God is gonna like lead you, and He's gonna do all these things. But you got to put in the work. You know, faith without work is dead, and people don't know what the
It
work
is.
is. They don't know what the
But
work
people
is. They
put
think
more faith on their work than they put in the faith to begin with.
that's true, but a lot of people don't know what the work is. Like a lot of people, they're like, yeah, I'm doing the work, and they think the work is just like um praying and reading the Bible and then like not doing anything else, like not going out and doing trying to get a job and grinding and working hard in the world. They act like it's two separate things. They act like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need to like go to the gym and lose weight and work 15 whatever hours a week and provide. I'm praying, you know, God has a plan for me. I'm doing this." And it's like,
They
bro,
use that as a crutch.
God is not a genie, bro. You got to still
Yeah.
do the work. That's just a lot of people because I have a lot of friends that had that mindset, and I know a lot of people that do that. And it's like, bro, so what do you think? God is gonna go on Indeed and like apply for a job for you, and then like get that and do that? It's like you're the work part. So that's why I emphasize the work part and like what actually the work entails. That's, you know, making sure that you look good. That's making sure that you can speak, you got good communication skills. You got to do it's so many things that you got to do that a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, that's not that important." And well, you don't need that, you know, maybe she can like you for something else, or like, "Well, yeah, that's worldly things." And it's like, "Well, we're in the world." So if we're going to do the work to like be where we're supposed to be at, you know, like we need to participate in these things. I mean, it's not
What
my
about
I,
be in the world but not of it?
I'm not of the world, but yeah, be in the world for sure because like because people try to say like, well, money, because I mean, you need money at the end of the day. Like
Mm-hmm.
you need these things, you need power, because then if you don't have power, then somebody who has power, you're at their mercy in this world. So when you're talking about like 2020, like the pandemic, like the shot, a lot of people had to get it because they don't have any money. Like they have a job, you know, they don't have any money outside of that job. They don't have a business. All they have is that 9 to 5. And they were like, oh, you working this 9 to 5, you got to get this, you know, genetic therapy, genetic mutated shot.
Insane.
And it's just like, oh, well, you can't do anything about it because you don't have the power to get out. So it's just like, okay, I
Yeah,
need. I
That's
need to get out of
self-reliance,
this.
though.
What do you mean? No, it's not. It's
Hmm.
not self-reliant. It's not
Thinking,
self-reliance.
thinking that, thinking that I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
No, you don't. If okay, so there were
So you don't have to figure out how to not get the jab.
at my old job, there was this man that he was a career teacher. His name was Zach. Coolest dude in the world. He had like 3 kids, married, and he lost his job because he refused to get the vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to work at the post office, I was a contract carrier I started when I was like 21. I was making way too much money. It was ridiculous for what I was doing. And he decided that I have this family to take care of. I have this career I've been in for the last 12, 13 years of my life. You know what? This is, I trust God because I am not going to allow myself to be genetically mutated by the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go do something else. And God is going to ordain my steps. And he did exactly
What did
that.
he do?
He left his job. He was like, he told the school district, absolutely not. I'm
Yeah,
not
but
getting the
what did he do?
vaccination.
When he left.
He went on a job hunt and he found the same job that I was doing, being contracted with the post office,
Mm-hmm.
and he was making more money than he was as a teacher. And God sustained that man and blessed him, and he had zero issues. And then as
That's
soon
what
as
I'm saying.
as soon as the contract was gone, he immediately the school district called him back, apologized, and reinstated him in his position after the contract was over. And it's
That's what
like,
I'm saying. That's what I
so
said to do though. That it because he took it. You could just say that's self-reliant. I mean, that's kind of the same example I gave. He was like, okay, I don't want to take the jab. I got to protect myself, so I got to go leave this job, go get another job. I got to grind. I got to make this money in this job, and then it worked out for him in the end. God, had a plan
oh,
for him.
I thought you were saying that like money is going to mitigate consequences, or I guess I misunderstood what you were saying.
I mean, it's the money, but then it goes to him having ambition, working hard, figuring out like, because a lot of people would have been like, okay, I'm gonna quit, and then God got me, and they just wouldn't have got that job, or they just wouldn't have like kept
I think
grinding.
most people would have just gave in and been like, well, what's the easiest thing to do? Well, I'm afraid. I don't know. I'm
Exactly.
going to take care of my family. I'll just get the shot and just
Yeah.
let them, and, allow them to do a science experiment on me so that I can die in the next 15 years.
And they'll be like, God will protect me from the shot. He'll make sure
Now
it
that's
misfires.
now that's crazy. That's
That's
nuts.
bro. People do this, bro. That's what I'm saying. People do this.
Unfortunately, the human default is the path of least resistance,
That's
which is
facts.
why there are so many completely unimpressive losers in this life.
But
It's very
you did
sad.
say that did you have a disagreement with I was being too hard on women or something, or I was going too hard on women? What was the thing with that? How did you feel I was going too hard on women
No, no, no. I don't think that
or
you go too
people in
hard on women.
general?
I say I don't go as hard on women
Mm,
I because I believe that the last 2 generations of women, there has been like a $10 billion um psyoping campaign of
mm-hmm,
just complete brainwashing of making people have giant inflated egos, making women think that they don't need men, making women hate men, making white women hate themselves, making them confused to not know what gender they are. And women, they're more impressionable. Women
mm-hmm.
don't even know where they want to eat. What happened when the first woman decided where she wanted to eat? She damned all of humanity.
Facts.
So women
Whoa,
are
whoa, whoa! Slow down
impression.
with the misogyny, man. Let's slow down with the misogyny, bro.
But I think the current state of the modern woman is that of a brainwashed herd animal that has been conditioned into worldviews that in no normal circumstances that they would have had.
Yeah.
Women hate men because of social conditioning. They hate men because of movies and Disney and Netflix and social media. So it's
That's why we got to be
completely.
hard on them. That's why we got to be even harder on them, I feel like, because we have to, because you got to put the, because we are already have to put the foot down. We're the authority. But
Mhm.
since it's getting this bad, we have to put the foot down even more.
But I think what that's going to do is I think they're so emotionally captured. At least from my perspective, I think that the priority is undoing the brainwashing and having them, because you can only believe a lie for so long. The longer that you lie to yourself, you have to keep creating an ecosystem of more lies to sustain the lie that your beliefs are on.
How do you undo the
So
brainwashing though?
by exposing the root of where it came from, and that's it's a lot harder to
They don't
make
care about that,
somebody.
bro. They don't care about that.
Most don't.
They
Most
don't
don't.
care. So if we're like, hey, listen, women, I get you guys are boss babing it up. You guys got jobs, money.
Mhm.
Look at the root of feminism. It was look at these people. This is why. Look. They wouldn't give a fuck. They'd just be like, okay, like yeah. Or they would even argue against it. I mean, women are arguing against feminism all day, every day. They're like debating against it. So I mean, like you said, they're emotionally captured. They're not logically captured. If we logically explain to them, well, actually, you guys voted for, because they did vote for not to have the vote actually at first. Women didn't want the right to
Mhm.
vote.
They did not.
So are we going to show them that? And they're going to be like, okay, let me rescind my vote. Oh, that's how women thought back then. Let me upload that thought to my like they don't care. They've already because that's the thing, they're emotional, so um we have to like put the foot down to where
I
it's
think being
like
more combative is going to make it worse.
it's not really combative, it's just we have to assert ourselves as men, you know. So that's where the emotion, because they do have emotional attraction to a real man. They
Mhm.
do want to submit to a real man. They do.
They can't undo the programming, and
Yeah.
they can't even comprehend why they're attracted to individualistic conservative men, and they see these soy retards that validate girls with OnlyFans as like eventually they're going to see them as disgusting, soft, effeminate men, and they
Hmm.
can't even. They're so brainwashed that they can't even compute of why that is. They're
Hmm.
just mad for no reason. And then they're like, where do the men go? Well, for the last 10 years, you told them that you didn't want them no more and that you didn't want to be approached and that you wanted to be left alone. So this is literally an ecosystem that you were psyoped into creating for yourself. And then you're still doubling down to defend the same ideology that is making your life worse. It's ridiculous. Now
Okay, you sound like
is
me, man. I thought you disagreed. What's going on here, bro? What's going on,
no, I
bro?
don't. No, I do not disagree with the messaging at all. I like I said, I think we agree on way more than we could ever disagree on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
The root of it though, I think that I think that having the video saying that like you're a retarded fat hog that was brainwashed and this, that, and the third.
Oh,
If
I
they're
didn't say that.
already
I never said that. Bro, you
like in
commented that on my
essence,
video, I think. She's a hog.
she was a hog.
She
That
was.
was that was an A1 hog.
She was
Good
definitely a
lord.
hog. She was
uh,
absolutely a hog.
yeah, that was nuts. That was wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, because even in that video, bro, well, not in that video, but there was another video of a girl that was big, and I was like, this is unacceptable. You know, women are getting fat, and
Was it the
um,
girl that she
she had
was
the
like
tummy.
compressed in the car?
Yeah, and she had that gut.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, this is unacceptable. The simps are gonna accept it regardless. So we have to we have to be vocal about this. You know, like, bitch, you're fat. We gotta let her know. Otherwise,
I do think that she was exaggerating though.
what do you mean? Like, she's not that fat?
Like if she was, I think the reason why it looked that bad is because she was hunched over, like trying to make herself like anytime somebody that has any sort of like
So you
excess
don't think
body fat
she's
on their
that fat?
body,
That's what you're telling me.
if she if she was standing up, it wouldn't look that bad. In the video, it looked crazy, but if she was standing straight up and trying and looking normal, I don't think it would be that exaggerated. I think she kind of played it up for the video.
I think she was
She could.
fat, bro. This is the thing, though. There, everybody in the comments, and it sounds like you're trying to do this right now. They were defending her, like, well, not everybody in the comments. There were some real niggas that was like, nah, that bitch is fat. But people were like, listen, she looks good, like she's fine. It's not that. And then there was another video I had about this girl that like works out or whatever. She's like over 200 pounds. And it's like works out, you're over 200 pounds, and she's like 5'4". And then everybody's trying to
Five
be
four is crazy.
like what? Everybody's trying to be like, listen, the BMI scale is outdated, and this is cool, this is okay. And it's just like, bro, people, we have to put the foot down. Men don't want big bitches like that.
A
Deep
lot of them
down,
do, bro.
no, they
A lot of
don't.
them do.
They're accepting and they're coping. This is not in their biological hardwiring.
No, I promise
They're
you.
coping.
Listen, my uncle Eric, he looks. I kid you not. It's it is You guys look uncomfortably similar. Like if I had a picture of my uncle Eric right next to you, it would be almost be indistinguishable. He just likes hogs. He's not an
Nah.
unattractive man. No, pause. He does. That's just what he likes.
So are you talking about like thick women, or are you talking about like just obese?
Oh no, there's been some hogs, bro.
There's been
Like
some hogs. That's
I'm
different
talking
though.
about like one was the same size as the chick in that car video.
Hmm.
The one before that was the one as the chick that was eating and
Yeah.
bragging about
See.
all the calories that she had.
Yeah, he doesn't have that.
Yeah, I promise you, yes, he does.
He, he's just saying that because, and this is what they do, bro. This is what they
There's
do.
just dudes that are into that.
No, 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 no. And black
Bro, why
guys
are
do
you
this all the
denying
time.
this?
Black guys do this all. He's black, right? He's black.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
he's very
I
dark
knew it.
skinned.
And those are like white girls. He's into. They're like fat white girls for the most part.
Was I think that the hog was mixed. The other one was German.
Okay, so yeah, these are like not black girls. Yeah, so this is what a lot of black guys do. They want they want white girls. They want a different race, but they can't get a skinny white girl, or they can't get like a skinny Latina or whatever. So they get a fat one, and they compensate or not compensate. They what's the word? Compromise.
Compromise.
Yeah,
There
they
you go.
compromise and they cope, and they're like, oh well, yeah, she's like big boned, and yeah, this is my thing. Like these I like on the bigger side, but that's just not true. That's just the only thing they can get. This is just like women when they say like, oh, I'm
I
single by
disagree.
choice. No, she's not actually single by choice. She just can't get the guy she wants, so she has to like cope and act like this is what she wanted to do in the end. If he was with the hog, and then that hog went to the gym and literally got like an amazing body, he's not gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm out of here. She's not a fat bitch anymore. I'm out. Like, stop it. That's not gonna happen. He gonna be like, hey, this was up. I didn't know she was gonna get like sexy all of a sudden. So like
Uh,
nobody.
most really big girls that end up losing weight do look really good because their weight is in the places that dudes want them to begin with. So I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe not, but like that's not my only example too. Like now there's this kid that I in college I was friends with this kid Isaiah. He's 6'6",
Mm-hmm.
big as hell, in very good shape. He was a basketball player. He was dating this chick from Guam
Mm.
that, I kid you not, 350 pounds, like 5'3", 5'4". She was fat as hell. That's just what he liked.
He's black, right?
Yes. He
She's
was
she's
dark
from
skinned,
Guam. She's a
six
lighter
six,
skin,
dark skinned dude.
and she's a lighter skin, right?
She, yeah, she had a much lighter, like complexion, kind of like mine.
You
But
see what I'm
I
saying?
don't know
You see
why
what I'm
I'm
saying?
really pale. I get hella dark in the summertime,
Where are you
but
from? Are you mixed, white and black?
I'm like, it's ridiculous how many ethnicities I am. It's outrageous. My mom is extremely dark skinned.
Hmm.
She looks like she's from somewhere
She looks like
in
me.
freaking Africa. Yeah, I would say you guys have pretty much exact same complexion.
I'm actually not this dark, by the way. I tried to get my lighting right, but shit's just not working. You
Oh,
see my
it's okay.
videos.
Yeah,
You see my
yeah.
videos.
Well, my
Yeah.
mom is she's dark skinned. She's black and Native American and Japanese, but she's overwhelming majority of her DNA is African.
Hmm.
And then my dad is Mexican, Irish, Scottish,
Hmm.
and something else. So I'm black, Native American, Japanese, Irish, Scottish, and there's there's one other. I forgot which nationality it was. Um, so like I probably come up as like 46% black, but it's just everything else mixing together. And also my grandma, my dad's mom, is she's an immigrant from Mexico, full blooded, 100% Mexican. She grew up there, and she has the same skin complexion as Betty White. It's ridiculous, like
Hmm.
just the most pale Mexican in the world. So my pigmentation doesn't really shine through unless I'm in the sun a lot, and my hair also kind of makes people think that I'm not black. But
Okay.
um, where did that stem from?
But yeah, I
Damn. Oh
mean,
no,
the
no.
fat,
But there's just dudes that just like hogs, bro.
that's cat.
That are not unattractive. There's nothing wrong with them. That's just their proclivities.
I promise you
Like
that's not
not
true. I promise,
it.
bro. I promise.
It is. I promise you, it is. Like me, like the video you made defending Nick Fuentes saying that he wanted a 16-year-old. I thought that was nuts. I thought that was insane
All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So, why is that nuts?
because in this way that our society is structured, there is nothing in common that you as a 26-year-old man, or Nick Fuentes as a 27-year-old man, or me as a 24-year-old man. There's nothing that we could have in common with a little 16-year-old child.
Whoa, she's not a child, bro. Relax, relax. That's an adult.
That's not an adult.
So,
That is
what
not
age does a girl become an
mentally an
adult?
adult. Well, even biblically, you're supposed to obey the laws of the land so long as that it does not conflict with the word of God.
Hmm.
And it's illegal to be with a 16-year-old girl in overwhelming majority of, I think there's like one or two exceptions where the age of consent is still 16. But
In the
why would you
world,
want to?
or
No,
in this?
in the US.
Okay, yeah, because there are, well, there's like, well, the Romeo and Juliet laws, but there's 30 states that age of consent is like 16.
It's
But
30. Oh, it's a lot more than I thought.
yeah,
I
but
thought the I
even
thought the overwhelming majority was 18.
nah, but that's not really
Let
for
me let me
the,
fact check.
yeah, it's like 30. But a lot of them have Romeo and Juliet laws, which is saying like the age gap. So that wouldn't really be applicable for everybody. But I mean, even in the world though, so let's say, because what is Nick? He's Italian, right? Italian, Mexican. So
Mhm.
if he went to Italy, it's like 14 over there, the age of consent. Might be
That's
16. So
I think
is
that
that then good now? Is it good then? Is he still a monster if he goes to Italy and does it?
I think that wanting a underdeveloped, a mentally underdeveloped girl, I view that. I wouldn't call someone a predator for it, but I think it is predatory behavior.
Okay, so what is mentally underdeveloped? At what age are they developed? 18?
18 to 20. I wouldn't. I think it's
18.
very very strange for, like, let's say, like
Women are
Andrew Tate, for
mentally developed.
example.
Have you met an 18-year-old woman? She's mentally developed.
No, I said not on average. Most of them are not, but I think that there's a certain stage of maturity where it's not strange. Like, what in the world does Andrew Tate, as a 36-year-old man, why is he talking to an 18-year-old girl that doesn't even know how anything in the world works? She doesn't understand next to anything. It's like it's satisfying some aspect of your flesh that knows that you're doing something you're not supposed to do.
But you're
In
it's
my
not
opinion, I
illegal
think
though.
that's very strange.
What do you mean you're not supposed to do? It's not illegal.
But
This is just
why?
the
Why
ick
do
for
you
you
need
though.
a
To
child?
ick. You just get the ick. That's all.
Why would you want to be honest with me? Be honest with me.
I don't know if you should ask me this question, bro,
Because
but
a 16-year-old girl, that's a sophomore in high school.
yeah, but I
You
feel like you're
would you really have a 16-year-old girlfriend?
that's the thing. Like girlfriend, I don't even look at boyfriend, girlfriend. Like a wife for me. Like it's a wife. It's someone that's having my kids. This is somebody that's going to submit to me. Like I look at it in that sense. I feel like you're looking at more of it like a friendship because you're kind of like, well, she has nothing in common with you. And what are you guys going to talk about and stuff like that? But it's like,
The way that
that's just
women are
not
sheltered and protected within a Western society, going after a 16-year-old girl when you are a developed grown man, is that's predatory to me. That's so weird. I
okay. You keep
couldn't even
saying girl.
fathom
Keep saying girl. So what age is she?
a
Would she?
16-year-old is a girl.
Okay, but you keep doing like this child thing, like she's a child. So what age is she not a child then?
She's honestly, because I've dealt with girls in the range within the past few years of my life. Despite this last one, the majority of my dating history has been girls that are younger than me.
Hmm.
Horrible experience. Horrible experience. And yes, that's anecdotal,
But what age is she not a
but
child though?
I'd say 20 years old for a female.
20?
I think the world is so hard on men, and especially now with how many obstacles we have with so many not
So
only
so you think the age of
educational.
consent should be 20?
I didn't say that. I said I think that a woman is an adult when she's 20, or she can be more so looked at as an adult when she's 20.
So if I
But I
date a
think that
19-year-old, you just be like, hey, get away from that child. That's a child. You would do that, right?
no, it's circumstantial. I'm sure there's 18.
Oh, okay.
Is
So
it
what are we
not? Is it
talking
not
about?
circumstantial?
So well, I mean, you just said the 16-year-old child. You didn't like put any conditions on it. It's like she's a child. This girl's a child. But it's like
If you're still in
19,
high school, you're a child.
you're a child. You I wasn't a child in high school, bro. But this is different for women though, because women, I want my girl to be pure, to be innocent, to be a virgin, to be non-corrupted, no trauma. I don't want her to have, because like we said, we live in a cesspit. We live in the end times pretty much. I don't want my girl to be out there getting all this stuff in her head. Like, chances are, I mean, hopefully she has a tough father. She has a strong father that's already protecting her from the world. But if not, then it's a free for all for this woman's soul. So I want to get in there as early as possible. So she's not like she'll submit to me, she'll listen to me, she's a virgin, things like that. So, but I mean, you're right. It could be horrible if I was an asshole, if I had like horrible intentions, if I was a bad guy, if I was like P. Diddy. But if I'm a good guy, what am I going to manipulate her to do? Be a good wife? You know?
Oh no, you're completely right. 30 states, it's the age of consent is 16. I didn't even know that.
30
Um,
states, man, 30 states.
mm,
And in majority of countries too. Europe, um, most of Europe, a lot of places it's 14. But because it's really after the sexual maturation, like after she goes through puberty and she has her period, Now she's at her like fertile. That's she's able to have kids. She's fertile.
But you
So
know that it's weird. That's why you wouldn't say that that's why you wouldn't say that you would go out with a 16-year-old girl, because that's crazy.
I mean, I would not go out with a 16-year-old girl. It's just I wouldn't go out with her. We just get married.
You would marry a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, I would. That's why I said don't ask me, bro.
That's bananas,
Don't
brother.
ask me
Why? Okay,
because
the thing
I'm not,
I
bro. I'm not gonna be like friends with my wife. We're not just gonna be like
why?
friends because we're gonna be husband and wife. It's husband and wife. We're not friends. We're not buddies. That's how I look
Why
at it.
not? What are you talking about?
Because, bro, it's a different situation. It's a marriage. It's a family. Like you're the
My wife is
mother.
my best friend.
Yeah, I don't see. That's why I don't look at it as that. So I see
Why?
that. I see what you're saying. Like we're not gonna have anything in common and stuff like that. But it's like that's just not the
Every
scope I'm looking
okay,
at it through.
every every ounce of um what's the word? Every ounce of like heaviness and depth and complexity of conversation that me and you could ever have, I could have the same intellectual depth with my wife. We talk
Uh,
about
that's crazy.
we
I
talk
mean,
about everything. Like, do you think women should vote?
absolutely not.
Me neither. Not under no circumstances
Why not?
whatsoever. Because they're emotional and impressionable,
Well, you just
and
said they had the same
they don't
intellectual.
vote. No, no, no. I did not say that. I
That's what
said
you just
my
said.
wife specifically.
Oh, okay, okay.
I didn't say women as a pejorative. I said every single everything that we could talk about is this to the same degree of depth and extremity that me and her could talk about. So
Okay, don't.
like
What are you trying to say about me? What is that? An insult?
no. I'm saying
You don't
I'm
think I
saying
should
that
vote either? What's going on?
I'm saying there's certain women that are to that level of intellectual honesty that will actually have a genuine, non-emotional, objective conversation with you about the world. Like
I don't know about that. And that I don't. I wouldn't
they're
even want
they're
that though.
very rare.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't want to be able to discuss politics and socioeconomics and just in the state of the world with your wife.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't want it to do it in like a what's it called? Like I would want to tell her about what's going on and explain it to her in a way that she could understand. And I would want her to give me some feedback on how she sees it. But it's not going to be like we're Piers Morgan, like we're going back and forth. This is her ideas, this is mine. I'm not going to respect her ideas as actual, like objective, like how I would yours. She's not a
Mm-hmm.
man. And I wouldn't expect her to be objective and logical. She's emotional, like she's a woman. So it's like I wouldn't even want her to be having these intellectual like that's not what you know what I'm saying. I want her to just to be soft and friendly and cheerful and bubbly for the kids. She's gonna be with the kids. She's gonna be in the house. She's gonna be doing these things. The soft. I don't want to be talking
No,
politics with her.
but we don't. But what I'm saying is we completely complement each other. So she does not. We don't have combative ideas. We see the world through the exact same lens,
Hmm.
and we discuss it
But
to.
I don't. I'm not talking to her as a peer. That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be like a peer. You know.
That's valid.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Um, I could not. I don't want somebody that is just going to listen to me all the time, always,
Whoa.
because I'm not right all the time. Like if I'm second guessing myself, I will consult her to think what she to ask what she thinks, or I'll call my dad and ask him what he thinks about either like a big life decision or something like that. But
Definitely the dad. Definitely go with the dad.
Well,
Definitely go with that.
I mean, usually yes, but she also has very valuable feedback that makes me see things in a lens that I may not have before. Not uh saying that they're usually correct. I mean, there's a lot of things that she says where I'm like, I don't think so actually. But she respects me enough and she submits to me enough to where we will have a conversation about it, and then she will change her opinion. She won't double down and argue it. She'll be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
she yields to the things that I say
Okay.
because she knows that I'm coming at it from a unbiased, objective, um, non-emotional frame. So, but there are there's a lot of women like that, and if that's not what you want, then that's not what you want. Then that's completely up to you. That's your prerogative.
I
I
mean,
couldn't imagine
you
being with
didn't
a
describe anything that's kind of out of what I said.
well, you're saying that you want somebody that you're gonna shape their worldview, and you're like spawn camping them at 16. Like you'd marry a 16-year-old girl so that you can because she's still so mentally malleable, so that
Hmm.
you could morph her into like a shiny Pokemon of like the kind of the ideal woman that you'd want, at least intellectually. Is that fair?
I mean, I don't see how that would be bad. You kind of gave me. You're just like you just want to just make her into this perfect wife. You just want to just make her into this like perfect
No,
hot.
I'm not. No, no,
And it's
I'm not
just like,
sliding that as
hey, I
I'm not
mean,
sliding that as if it's a
hey.
negative. No, I was asking you to confirm if like that's the goal.
Yes, that would be great. That would
Okay,
be great.
it's not backhanded or trying to like
Well, not even
invalidate
that
or
it's
anything like that.
backhanded, but it's just like, doesn't that just sound amazing though? Like you're just telling me you just want this perfect, this, you're just gonna make her this perfect wife. And it's like,
No, I'm
doesn't
just
that sound
asking if
great?
that's the reason why you want someone so young.
Yeah, but what doesn't that sound like amazing? You know what I'm saying? Doesn't that sound great? What would be the downsides of that? It's like, okay, you got this perfect wife that like
Because
compliments you perfect.
I want someone with their own ideas. I want somebody that if they genuinely feel like I'm wrong or if I'm making a mistake, that they have the mental faculties to articulate that I'm wrong or I'm misguided or short-sighted in a certain aspect. That is smart enough to either correct or condemn something that I think is a good decision. So if
Well,
I have somebody that I like not manipulated is that's too much of a negative connotation because I don't think that what you're saying or what your intention
I mean, it could be,
is negative.
you could say it's manipulative, but I mean, the manipulation isn't inherently bad though, you know?
Not when not when it's not malicious. No.
Yeah.
It
It's like because some people they put their grandpa's like medicine in like in a drink so they don't know it's actually in there because they know he wouldn't take it or something, and it's like they're manipulating him to take his medicine, but it's medicine and it's good,
yeah.
so it just depends. That's why I don't think it's weird because I'm a great guy. So I understand like if she submits to me and she's not corrupted and tainted and she looks at me, I'm her first man she's ever had, bro, she's going to be in perfect hands because like I'm going to work as hard as I can to be the best man. I'm fully submitted to God. I'm following God. And it's just like that's what, but I feel like the age of consent is to kind of protect women from those ditties, from those eps, from those crazy, because we do live in a cesspit. So I wouldn't subscribe. I don't want it to be like, yeah, everybody go get a 16-year-old because you know not everybody is following
Well
the will of
intentioned.
God. And so yeah, not everybody is genuine. So
If you're okay, so if you're fully submitted to God, why call yourself a great guy?
because I'm a great guy.
But Christ says that no man is good, and all men, all, uh, no man is good, and man's heart is desperately wicked, and who shall know it? So it's
That's
not
true,
that.
but he said that in the context of like um because he was telling somebody like he was God, and he was because he was trying to show that guy that he was God, because he's not saying that nobody's good. He's saying that the guy disagreed that he was God. He said, "You're not God." And then the guy was like, saw Jesus do something. I forgot what he saw him do. And then he was like, "Wow, like you're good." And then Jesus was like, "What did you just say?" He's like, "You're good." He was like, "But no man is good though." Like, as in, like, nigga, think about what you just said. You know, like I'm God. But because that's not true, because he said Adam was good. He said whatever. What is that dude that he ran in and saved? He said he was good. There was multiple people that was good.
Oh, Lot.
Yeah, Lot. They said Lot was good. So there were good people. But in that context, he's just saying like, no, I'm different. Like you're not. Humans aren't like me. Like I'm divine. But I'm not
Mm,
even saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm divine. I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying I'm a great guy, as in I'm good intentioned. So she's in good hands if she submits to me, type of thing.
got you. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a single circumstance where I would desire a 16-year-old girl because of those for those reasons. But those also aren't my proclivities because I just like women that are older. Like my wife is almost I'm 24 and she just turned 29 in November of last year. And
Mm.
that's just what I've always been more attracted to older chicks. Like I went out with this lady that was uh 47 when I was 21, and it's just like
All right, hold
it
on, hold
wasn't
on, hold on,
serious.
hold on,
It
hold on,
wasn't
hold on, hold on.
serious. It
You
was
talking
before I was
about
saved.
me with a
It
16
was
year
before I
old? You
was
talk
saved.
about the age gap?
Because it's a woman.
21,
It's different. It's different. Most 14-year
bro.
old want their teacher to take advantage of them.
So how are you?
That's what little boys want. So it's just a different dynamic.
Yeah, but how could you say this about the age gap when it's me? You were with a 47-year-old, bro. How is that not predatory?
Because I was a grown man that lived by myself and took care of myself and handled my own business. That had my stuff, had my ducks in a row, had my stuff together. So it was it was a different situation. I think it's different for a dude and his and by when I don't mean had an actual relationship, like went on a
Hmm.
couple of days, like it wasn't anything like that.
I
But
mean,
I do believe it's a as a young man that is self sufficient
it is different
and
because you're a man,
provides
though.
for himself. I think just because some older chick being like, oh, I got this young guy that's into me, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
It's just like an ego trip for the female and for the dude. Like you were just staunchly disagreeing. Oh, no man likes a fat chick. There are dudes that love fat chicks. There are.
Nah,
There,
they don't.
yes, there are.
They don't
There's
love the
and
fat. That's what I'm. They don't love the
some do.
fat. No, they don't.
That it is a perversion for a lot of guys.
Nah, bro. There's no way. But I mean, pretty much. But just to close it off with the 16-year-old, I mean, uh, I would want one because they're younger. We're attracted to younger women, biologically, and women are attracted to older men because the things that women are attracted to, like leadership, experience, communication skills, money, being able to provide, being able to protect, like muscles, force, just all these things. These things take time. They take a lot of time. So
Mhm.
that's why they say like the prime age for a man is like in his 30s, because it takes a long time to get these things that women like. But women, the things that we like about them, they're born with. They already have, right? They are trying to retain their value. We are trying to get our value. So,
That's a fact.
me, I look at a woman and the things we want, like pure, submissive, um, friendly, nice, no trauma. These things are all like in younger women. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, and then the
I wouldn't
children
say
part.
I'm not biologically attracted to younger girls or younger women. I mean,
So you're saying that this is just
I
not true
think
because, like,
it's valid to say that most men, I would say that maybe not the overwhelming majority, but certainly the majority of men want want a mentally malleable female that they can impress, that hasn't seen the grandeur of the world before. They want them to
mhm.
be enamored with them as a man. That's the majority. Most guys want a girl that's younger than them. I think that's just an objective fact. But but it's not every single guy.
Well,
Not
the
as a
features,
pejorative.
the features too, because I mean, when you look at like makeup, what are they trying to do? They're trying to make themselves look younger. They try to give themselves younger features. They get all these surgical procedures or whatever, make their skin tight to like it when they're a baby or something. Like everything they
Mhm.
do is to look younger. So that means that men are attracted to younger women. Nobody wants to get wrinkles. Like nobody likes a woman because now she's getting wrinkles and she's older now. Like that's just not the case. Even if you
Those are
say,
just my proclivities, brother.
so you
I
like a
think
girl with wrinkles.
not necessarily. I'm not extra attracted to them or unattracted to them because of that.
Okay, so yeah, you're attracted to younger women then. 18 to
Not
25.
necessarily.
That's the range that majority of guys 18 to 25, well 16 to 25.
I think maybe it's not so much the physical for me. I think that one of the main reasons why I just enjoy the company of a slightly older female is it's less work from my experience. It's let I don't it's not draining. Like for most married men, one of
I
the
agree.
biggest one of the biggest pain points, like one of the largest stressors in their life is their wife or their relationship dynamic, what have you. It's like the least amount of stress that I have in my life of everything that I'm juggling and doing. She's the least of it, and it's because she's not retarded.
Hmm.
She hates arguing, hates disagreeing, hates relational tension. We Neither of us enjoy problems. We hate issues. And younger women, it's like a thrill to them. Like they love causing problems and waking up in the morning thinking, what can I argue about?
Well,
What
this
can I
isn't.
nitpick about?
That's not
How can I
younger women
nag?
though. This is just like rambunctious women.
I think it's a
There's a
you're gonna have a
lot of
higher.
there's a
I
lot
think
of
there's gonna be a
25-year-old, like 30-year-old women that are like ready to argue. I mean, I'd argue most 30-year-old women are way more combative and they want to argue all day than like a younger woman. But
you
any
think so?
woman could be, I would say so, yeah. But any woman to me can really be rambunctious and things like that. And I would agree with you that younger woman probably would be more stressful, at least at first. But here's the thing though. And I even agree with you because it sounds like you and your wife, you guys have a great like relationship, but you just agreed that this is like a rare one out of one. Like most women aren't going to be like that and do that,
Correct.
especially however you found her. Most women, yes, you're not going to be able to, like if they're older, they're not as malleable and stuff, but most of them aren't going to be programmed with like the woman of God Proverbs 31. They're going to be programmed with bullshit. So it's
Mhm.
like, I don't want to.
But as a man of God, why would you entertain that for a second? Like, why
What
would that
if
even be an
that's
aspect?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But how many women would that disqualify though? Like
A lot.
that's what I'm
The overwhelming
the
majority of women.
overwhelming. So let me play my best probability, at least what strategically and logically how I know. I mean, I could meet a 21-year-old that's like and God's like, yeah, this is who I have for you. But I'm just
Mhm.
saying like logically, um, probability wise, just all the things I know that would make the relationship the best, you know, that's pretty much what it is for me. But
That's very valid. I'm not mad at that. That's
yeah,
that's very valid. So it's not that it's not that you're seeking somebody that is that much younger than you, or that is it's it's because you've picked the most highest probability of success on
hmm
that scenario.
yeah, because if you marry a virgin, like it's like 80% success rate, and then after her first body, it goes down to like 50%, and then like um the mortality rate is like crazy when she gets higher or older in age, and then she has like less eggs. Most of her eggs are gone at a certain age. Then there's a time clock. So it's just like all these things I'm working against. Like I would just give myself the best chance. Um, but yeah, if she's 16, I'm not saying it's like, yes, she's 16, like everything is gonna be great about her. Yeah, sure, she might be annoying and shit, and there might be other stuff, and like you said, the common like how we talk and the things that we enjoy, probably gonna be a gap there. There'll be things to deal with, but as far as for the like the best outcomes for the family and stuff like that, because she's only going to be 16 for a year, then she's 17, then she's 18, then she's 19, then she's 30 something, then the kids, so it's like I want to make sure the family, this is going to be the best outcome for the family. Like I'm just thinking long term,
Mm,
but
okay.
I think we're
Yeah,
clear on that though. But Nick, so that Nick Fuentes did say that, but Nick Fuentes overall, how do you feel? Do you not rock with him? Do you rock with him? What do you think? Because I think he's great.
I think he's a retard.
Why?
Oh
What do
man,
you disagree with the most about him that he does or says?
because w- I really hate when people that do not submit themselves to Christ and that do not live a Christ-like life and do not actually take the faith seriously use it as a vehicle for self-aggrandizement. And I think that he does that because there's no universe where a man that is actually Catholic and actually submitted to God and is actually following and walking in the statutes of the Lord, he would not. We are told to abstain from coarse joking. Um, Blessed are the peacemakers. And I make very offensive videos, but my goal, my heart posture is not intended to offend people. I say what I believe is the most beneficial thing in just a raw, honest way.
Well,
I'm not
we can't
good.
we can't really you can't judge heart posture because you don't really know his heart posture. You could say that you have good intent, that's why you're doing the raw stuff, but I mean, it's hard to debate heart posture and intentions, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say like what specifically.
You will know them by their fruits. I was getting into that. Um,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
when he says things like, you're an F word, you should effing kill yourself. Ha ha ha, just kidding. Or when he says that uh, the Republicans aren't doing everything that we want them to do right now, so go vote for the Democrats who murder babies, who leave the borders wide open, who literally hate you, who are trying to destroy the country from the inside out in the most debaucherous, godless way possible, where Satanism is completely and utterly accepted, exalted, glorified, where debauchery, homosexuality, LGBT, everything, where they are the most predatory, they have the most predatory lending practices, and they just give complete license to illegal immigrant NGOs with ridiculous funding, and they egregiously steal tax dollars, and they're trying to erode America's sovereignty. I don't like I don't like Trump anymore because I have Israel derangement syndrome. So that means go vote for Gavin Newsom in 2028 so that we can literally lose our country. It's like, why would you say something like that? It's very short-sighted, and I think it's very ignorant. And when you have the Holy Spirit within you, there are certain things that you don't do and that you don't say. And the way that he jokes and saying that, oh, Jeffrey Epstein actually wasn't a pedophile, he was just blah blah blah, and Hitler is cool and Joseph Stalin is awesome, and uh I don't believe that it was 6 million Jews, it was actually 300,000 Jews. However many it was a mass genocide of people that were maybe I don't know the whole history of Hitler's entire motivations, but if there were groups of Jews that were trying to corrode and destroy the society, you have to hold individuals accountable for their own sin. That's even biblical. You don't take it your step further to, oh, wow, I'm going to mass genocide hundreds of thousands at least, if not actually 6 million plus, or a couple million plus people. I'm just going to murder them, experiment on them, torture them, um, put a bunch of drugs in their system and see how they react, mutilate babies, put them in gas chambers, and just annihilate everybody. And then you, as a Christian, are going to say that the mass genocide of somebody, or someone that committed the mass genocide of an entire ethnic group based off of the sins of people within that ethnic group, or just because of the ethnic group as a pejorative, or somebody, and racism is also sinful. If you have a skin problem, that's a sin problem. And when you dislike someone solely based off of the color of their skin, that is it's categorically ungodly, because there's no colors in the kingdom. There's no racial divide in heaven, because we're all a family in Christ, and our identities are rooted in Christ, not rooted in the fleeting irrelevant things of this world. So I think downplaying somebody that committed mass genocide for whatever reason you want to say, because there's no way that you kill hundreds of thousands of people indiscriminately and then you say, no, I was punishing them for the sins that they committed. No, you were not. It was you are just categorically murdering people for the sake of whatever. You think that you're God, you think you're judge, jury, executioner, and then you want to LARP, you want to have a Christ is King shirt on saying how much you love Hitler.
Okay,
Like
let's go
none
in.
of it
Let's get into
computes
this.
together.
Okay, let's get into this. So to start with, though, you said that to go back to the beginning part of what you said that when he was talking about telling people to kill themselves, ah ha ha, that's just a joke. Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, I think that's a bad joke. It's distasteful. I don't agree with that. It would be cool, better if he didn't say stuff like that. But I don't really take that seriously. But like I said, uh, I think he would even agree too. Like he takes it too far with saying things like that. But the next part you said, the election. So he never told people to vote Democrat in 2028. He's saying vote Democrat in the midterms so they can destroy the GOP. And then in 2028, we'll have our own, like, America First candidate, or somebody will come from the rubble in 2028. He didn't say vote for Gavin Newsom in 2028. But even then, when you're talking about the Democratic Party, like, oh, they're pro gay and the trans and, they're demonic and this and that. Yeah, but like Republicans aren't any better, honestly. Like Trump isn't Trump literally put out a thing that said no transgender surgeries until the person is 16, or until it's an adult. And then the people were like, "Bro, what's going on? What?" And then he deleted it and then posted another one that said, like, put it without it. But I mean, he's paid for women's abortions himself. He's not even really he's not pro-life. And that's what a lot of Christians were mad at when he was running, because he wasn't really pro-life. He's more pro-choice than anything. And Republicans in general, they're just really bought out by, a foreign entity. So um they don't really have any like dignity or anything like that either. I think both sides are bad. So when you're saying that, like, oh, voting for a Democrat is kind of like immoral. I mean, I would agree. Everything that you said they do is bad, but Republicans, for the most part, do the same thing. I mean, Trump said he's trying to get 500,000 Chinese people in here with the green card. So
That is nuts. That
what's
pissed
up
me
with
off.
the
I couldn't
yeah?
believe you said that.
So what's up with the immigration? What's up with that? And then we're talking about he said the farm we need to get immigrants in for the farming too as well. He's going to try to get that. So it's just like, well, none of them are really trying to end the immigration because we've had Republican presidents. It's not like it's just been Democrat for the past 50 years, you know. So they're not really doing anything either. It's kind of just the same side of the same coin. So
I think Trump is very unique, though. I would
he
not
is.
categorize him as a Republican. He's like, it's so, what blows my mind to me is that the brainwashed, like captured idiots call him like some far right extremist fascist. This nigga is the most moderate, one of the most moderate candidates that has ever led this country as far as domestic policy.
He's
Like
not even moderate. He is just purely independent. Like he purely apolitical, like purely has his own. He doesn't have an ideology. He
he's
is
like a normal 90s liberal.
yeah. He's bought out though. So it is whoever is paying him the money, he doesn't have an ideology. So whatever those people are telling them to do that are funding him,
How is he bought out?
he's bought out by Miriam Adelson that gave him $500 million in his campaign.
Who
That's what lobbies do. They pay the president, they pay whatever Congress member, they pay whatever thing,
who
and
is Miriam? I've never heard of that person.
uh, she's a Jewish. She's like one of the most powerful Jewish women.
Of course she is.
Um, yeah, I don't know if that's APAC. I'm not sure. Maybe she has her own lobbying group or whatever. But yeah, she gave him 100 million for his first campaign, and she gave him 500 million for her second campaign. And she Trump did a speech. I think it was the Jewish committee. He did his speech. Mark Levin is up there talking about, yeah, Trump is the first Jewish president. Ha ha
That was
ha.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And
That
Miriam
was crazy.
Adelson is up there. Trump is like, yeah, Miriam Adelson, the one that gave him 500 million. She's like, yeah, she's in my office every day telling me like, do this and do that, and she's always in there and talking about, and it's just like, okay, well, yeah, we know what's going on here. So that's why I say he's bought out because he even said no more foreign wars, no more of these. We're not going to do this. And then Netanyahu comes in the White House for like the eighth time, telling them to bomb Iran, telling them that we have to get on the offensive. And then he changes and he's like, okay, we're going to do this, but only this,
That's not
only that.
true.
What do you mean?
That's categorically not true. Trump has been talking about bombing Iran for 40 years. He has
Okay.
this is not a new thing. And also the reason why I'm a very strong supporter of the conflict in Iran is because that was a Christian nation that was occupied by psychotic Muslim nutballs that
What?
forced a
Iran?
religious, yes, that they forced a religious theocracy on these people, and they have been under the boot of Islamic extremism for 50 years now. And they like these crazy niggas murdered 40,000. That is a mass. Why is the UN not talking about that? Why is nobody calling Iran murdering 40,000 of its own citizens that were
Well,
protesting their control
well,
a
I mean,
genocide?
because these aren't like just natural, like genuine protesters. They're dressed in all black. They got machine guns, and we even said ourselves we were.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. We even said ourselves that we we armed, we facilitated it. We gave a lot of people machine, and this is like Mossad or somebody. This is a militant group. Are there some what's it called? Are there some people that protested naturally? Probably, but like 50,000 people dressed in
That's
all
not true,
black,
bro. That's not.
armed with machine gun
If this was
artillery,
all a
like
psyop, why are they all dead? Why are 40,000 people dead? I think
Well, they
I
tried to
think that
overthrow the government with it was a militant group.
because they are being
We've done
ruled
this
by
before, by the way.
psychopaths.
You could say that. I mean, I don't agree with the Iranian regime, but we've done these things before. Like we go in and we set a like a funded revolution. Like we've done this before. Even in Iran, we've done this before, and we're the ones that put in the Shah, that was the crazy dictator. We did a regime change in Iran already. We put in the Shah. We did all these things. Like okay, Iran is a disaster. True, they have what's it called? They have a terrorist groups and all that. You know, I agree with that. But
They are the number one state sponsor of terrorism around the entire world. We spend $50 billion, no, excuse me, $80 billion a year on counter-terror measures from Iran-funded terrorist groups throughout all of the United States territories.
yeah, but
That's such a sink of money for no
what is
reason.
terrorism?
What do you mean, what is terrorism? Why are you asking a rhetorical question?
Because we can say they're the biggest terrorists, but it's just like, what does that mean? Because you could never define that, because we're doing the same. I mean, in that case, America would be terrorist, Israel would be terrorist too. We have the same type of militant
I'm not
groups.
blaming Trump for the sins of America's past. Trump is doing what Trump is doing right now. So the fact that America put the yes, the United States put the Shah into power. Yes, we have made military campaigns to destabilize other countries to take advantage of them. That's I'm not
Covert
I'm not
military campaigns. Covert. It's not like we're going in there. We're the U.S. We got the flag. It's those, just like you said, those 40,000 protesters dressed in all black. We do things like that. We fund people.
that's brother. Okay.
They said
There
it.
are
They said it.
I'm in a very blessed position to be able to have enough reach to talk to people in places, and people know about me from all over the world, in different places. And I have had the blessing and privilege to talk to people in Iran, and not a single American Iranian um, immigrant
Hmm.
that has what's the terminology, that has assimilated into our Western culture has had anything positive to say about the psychotic nutballs that are ruling that country. It is a shithole. It is a bunch of goat herders where this psychotic, and you said, what is terrorism? Terrorism is is religiously motivated um, acts of evil. That's what that is. In order to
So was
facilitate,
Israel Gaza Bama? Was Israel bombing Gaza? Was that terrorism?
I don't care about that. I don't care about what Israel does
Was
on
it
the other side of the
terrorism though?
world. No, because it was I believe that Israel has the right to
Oh,
react
they
to
have the
whatever
right to
they
be
need to.
terrorists. That's the thing.
That's not, you can't negotiate with terrorists. So, all
See,
right,
but
what?
you
Listen
just
to me.
are you
Hold
named
on, hold
them
on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
terrorists,
hold
and
on.
then you name them not terrorists, and now it's just like, well, they can bomb them because they're terrorists, and the terrorists can't bomb them because that's terrorism. So it's just like, so when does the other person become terrorist, and how does this person not be a terrorist? You just said it's
If
religious
if
evil, so
nobody, if
Israel would be
no,
terrorist too.
if nobody messed with, if every surrounding country of Israel left Israel alone, what happens?
Bro. Israel, so you're telling me Israel is have they don't get on the offensive? You're telling me they're like peaceful?
If every surrounding country left them alone, what happens to those surrounding countries?
Israel would invade. They've already done that before. They've
When have
in,
it when?
they've invaded Lebanon. They've invaded Lebanon multiple times. They've invaded Lebanon weeks ago. They um
They in, they've invaded Lebanon to save people from being butchered by Islamic extremists.
no, they invaded Lebanon to gain territory, to expand. They're trying to expand. The defense minister even said this. They're killing people, they're bombing churches. and they're trying to take land and territory. That's not saving people from a regime, bro. That's them trying to expand. And I don't even really have an issue with that, like politically. My ideology wouldn't even have an issue with that. But you can't say that they're like, oh, we're just trying to save people from this regime, this terrorist regime. That's not the case. They're trying to expand. They're trying to get more power in the
Let
Middle East.
let me ask you this: if Mexico is the closest bordering country that I could use this example for.
Hmm.
If there was a music festival in Texas and a military or militarized group that is the authority that is in charge and running Mexico
I'm talking about
barged in,
October 7th.
yes, if they barged in through the border and slaughtered, raped, and beheaded thousands of people, abducted children, took a bunch of hostages, what should America's response be to Mexico?
Absolutely destroy them. But why did they
So
do it
would that make
October
us
7th?
terrorists? Would that make us terrorists?
I don't even like to use the word terrorist because
Okay, no, because now it's inconvenient. Why not? Why would that not make us terrorists if we just indiscriminately bomb the shit out of Mexico for slaughtering thousands of American citizens and taking hostages? How would we not be terrorists? But Israel's the terrorist for doing the exact same thing in response to that.
so they did October 7th for no reason?
There's no universe where it is a defensible position to rape women, murder people, cut people's heads off, kill
Whoa, whoa,
babies,
whoa. You're
light
describing
people
it.
on
You're
fire.
describing things Israel does, though. Israel has done all those things. So
Really? What like we don't
the
even have
IDF,
enough
the
facts to say
IDF,
things like that.
the IDF has done all those things, and it's on camera. They've raped on camera. They've had what's it called? They've had protests because people told them they can no longer rape the women anymore. You can't rape the not the jailed people, but the captured. You can't rape them. That's what we were telling them. They had protests saying, "Yes, we can. We can rape them. You can't tell us what to do." They've done all these things before. This isn't now. I'm not saying it's not bad. It's not evil, and I'm not even saying we shouldn't retaliate. I think we should retaliate, and we should do that. But why did October 7th happen? Why did Hamas do that? We can't start at that point. We can't just start at October 7th because that's not where it started. Israel has been bombing Gaza. They've been bombing them. They've
But
been
what
bombing
does
the
that have to
Palestinians.
do? All right.
What do you mean, what does that have to do? You just said if someone did that to us, we should destroy them. What,
Exactly.
so they're trying to do this.
So
They're doing the
Israel
same
has
thing.
the right to destroy them.
So
If
Palestine
you
has
want
the
to if you
right
want to
to
call
do
them,
October 7th then. That's what you just said. If you were in
that's crazy.
Palestine, if you were Palestinian, you were Palestine, and you were getting bombed, and some people were like, "All right, man, we're tired of this. We finna go respond. We finna go do this. My mom's dead. My brother's dead. Everybody's dead. We had nothing to lose." You're telling me you wouldn't just go? I would go with them too. Like, yeah, at least I'm gonna
The
fight and die.
Palestinians are not in they are not in good faith. It is
Well,
religiously motivated. They're psychopaths.
Israel isn't really religiously motivated either. They're literally praying to get their Messiah back. This is all religiously motivated. Now, I don't agree with either religion. That's why it's like to me, I think Judaism is false. I think Islam is false. I think they're both disruptive. So to me, it's just like it's not even religious to me. It's just like they're just, both wrong and they both have their ideologies that are causing a lot of violence. So I look at it from an America First standpoint, like, listen, we don't want to be involved in this conflict or with these people or in this. We don't want to be, we don't want them to be funding our presidents to go in and do, be their puppet arm or be their this and that. So it's just like, I don't want any part of it. And that's what the American people wanted. We didn't
The
want to be in the Middle
uncomfortable
East.
truth is that we don't have a choice.
That's
We
that's not
have
true.
to be.
We don't
Yeah,
have to be.
Yes, it is. What
We
happens?
don't have to.
What happens? Listen to me.
It's not our
What
problem.
happens? It 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 literally is our problem. This is why it's our problem. If you're forget about the good and the bad, who's a terrorist, who's not a terrorist. If you want to talk about the conflict,
Hmm.
I as an American, I don't care about the sand wars. Keep the sand wars in the sand place.
Hmm.
Do that, okay? However, these places in the Middle East, they have resources that American lifestyle and infrastructure is reliant on.
Right.
What every single time there's a conflict, now gas is hella expensive because the Middle Eastern trade route to bring oil so that we can have affordable gas,
Hmm.
that's now disrupted. We have there are so many rare earth materials that make our cell phones, our RAM has like quadrupled in price, not only because of the AI data centers, but also because the Middle East is where those things are produced.
Hmm.
American consumer products are made and sustained in the Middle East. So that when the Middle East is destabilized, our way of life is destabilized. Consumer products are way more expensive.
Hmm.
People that aren't rich can't afford normal things, that can't afford electronics. Everything, it's like the just the sea levels rise and everything gets more expensive. So we have vested interests in there not being conflict in the Middle East. And has it been a failure, us trying to install our own regimes in these countries? Yes. Has it been ill intently motivated? Probably. But I think a large aspect of it is putting someone in power that the powers that be currently or at that time in America are easier to deal with. The reason why it's difficult to deal with Russia is because they have nuclear bombs. The reason why it's difficult to deal with North Korea is because they have nuclear bombs. We don't need another problem that could completely destabilize the world at the push of a button. And not only that, but when you have a religious theocracy that calls America the big Satan, that wants to wipe us and Israel off of the map. Now, feel however you want to feel about Israel. You can think that they're terrorists. You can not like them. That's your prerogative. Okay. And anybody that thinks that, whatever, that's how they feel. But we can't live in a world where a religion wants to blow an entire nation state of millions of people off of the map when it's religiously motivated. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of the things that Israel does or doesn't do to agitate, but if we allow them to have nuclear weapons, and then when the defense minister goes on CNN and says, "Yeah, we have 70% enriched uranium. This is the goal. What are you going to do to stop us?" That can't happen. That's a problem because now you
He
have
said,
to
"What are you gonna
if
do to stop us?"
he didn't say that verbatim, but it was in tone. It was basically like, yes, that's what we're doing. They're like, you guys have 60%, 70% enriched uranium, and he was like, yeah, we do. That's what we're doing, and we're going to keep doing it indefinitely. So when you have a country that hates your country, that has expressed for decades and decades of how you want to blow us off of the planet,
Why do they hate us?
we it doesn't I don't care why they hate us.
Well, that's
They
important.
still can't have a nuclear bomb. I'm not You can't negotiate with terrorists. And you really can't negotiate with terrorists when they can destabilize the world and plunge us into another world war at the press of a button by having a nuke. They can't have a nuclear weapon.
Okay,
It's simple
so
as that. They're crazy.
what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying, honestly. And I do agree with the stance of we can't like we're the global hegemony. We have to be able to. I do want America to be the global power,
Mhm.
and and we do need the Middle East to be stable, and so does everybody. Germany gets things from Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia gives resources to other countries in Europe and Russia and China. Everybody gets stuff from the Middle East. Everybody gets resources. So we all need the Middle East to be good, but why isn't the Middle East good? This is like kind of what you're not. You're kind of just putting it all on Iran when you Israel is the one that keeps on igniting all of these conflicts over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part, and you're saying like, oh well, they want to kill us. They hate America, and I'm like, why? You're like, oh, that doesn't matter. It's like they want to kill us because Israel keeps funding our government, keeps telling our presidents, hey, we need to go on the offensive. Hey, we need to bomb these people. We need to destabilize these people. Like we bombed Syria, destabilized them, put in whatever leader, and that didn't work. We bombed Afghanistan, destabilized them, put in whatever leader. I think they turned it back to Al Qaeda. Like Al Qaeda is now running the country or something. We bombed whatever Iraq, same thing. And guess who is telling us to do all these things? They're all Jewish. They're all from Israel. You know, uh, Paul Wolfowitz, what is it called? The Clean Break Memo in 1996. General Wesley Clark said it himself. Hey, these Jews came into the Pentagon and gave us this paper about how we're going to bomb these 7 countries in 5 years. It's been longer than 5 years, but I mean, that was the plan. And this is Israel getting us to bomb all these countries. And all these countries, they have people. Yes, they have religious ideology. It's a theocracy. I don't agree with it, but when you're bombing people year after year over and over again, you're bombing and destabilizing countries and causing a lot of chaos. And they are looking at who's bombing them, and it's us every time. Yes, they're gonna hate us. Of course, they're gonna hate us. But even they even understand, like, okay, Israel is making them do it. They've said it multiple times. Israel is controlling America. So, but that's why they call America what, the big Satan, because we're getting controlled by people who are insane, people who have, you know, crazy ideologies. And I get what you're saying. Like they can't have a nuke. Well, we already had them under a contract where they couldn't have a nuke and they
They
couldn't
ignored
enrich
that. They
it.
didn't care about that.
Well, they didn't
They
break
were
it.
still. Yeah.
They didn't break the contract. So when Trump came in
They
and got
literally
us.
said that they did.
No, that
What do you
wasn't.
mean?
The contract was already broken. We already Trump Trump ended it because Israel was mad that we had them under a contract and they couldn't enrich uranium to weapons grade. And they said, we got to break the contract. We got to get out. Obama did the JCPOA. He's the one that made the nuclear contract. And it was with China was involved, Russia was involved. All these countries all agreed that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. And when Trump got in, one of the first things he did was end the deal because Israel told him, "Hey, we need to end this. We need to end the
What is
deal."
it called?
The JCPOA, because
Okay.
Israel needed, oh, they're going to build the nuke. They're going to build the nuke. They needed that to scare us into getting in the war. Them building the nuke is the only thing that was going to get us into this war. So that's why when Trump got in, the first thing he did was deaded the deal. So, oh, now they're going to build a nuke. Now we're right back to it. They're going to build a nuke. We got to stop them. And it's just like they hated Obama for that, by the way. They hated Obama for making the deal because now there was no way that we could go and bomb Israel, or not Israel, Iran. And Netanyahu, you could go back to the 90s. He's been saying Iran is 10 weeks away from building a nuke. Iran is 5 days away from building a nuke. Iran is gonna build a nuke in next week. He's been saying this for like 30 years now. So, you know, that's why it's like you gotta understand, you gotta look at the bigger picture here. It isn't just these evil terrorists versus like us good guys. And Israel is just like the little brother that's just caught into it and they're innocent. It's Israel
I
is
never said
getting
Israel was innocent.
okay. Israel is getting us to fight on their behalf to to enshrine them as the hegemony in the Middle East. Now, I don't even, this is, I look at it from an American standpoint. I don't even have a problem with th- them trying to become the hegemony of the Middle East, Greater Israel. Listen, do whatever you do. Like you said, leave the sand wars in the sand wars. Like, leave it to them.
Mm.
My thing is, when you are doing this at the behest of us and our resources and our tax dollars, and we don't have a choice, and you're controlling our government, and we are like paying for this, that's my problem. That's where I start to, and that's what America First is. It's like, listen, we don't want any part of this. Bring our troops home. They've been in the Middle East since the, like, my dad was in Iran. My dad was in the first Gulf War and for Iraq. My bad, not Iran. And this is like, I wasn't even born then. And now I'm 26. We're still in Iran. We're still in Iraq. We're still in the Middle East. It's like, when is this going to end? You know? And this is all because Israel is getting us over there and doing these things. So, I mean,
So,
we just want to be out of it.
y- so you brought up a lot of granular details that I'm either ignorant to or just not well versed on. And I don't have any sort of implicit bias. My only implicit bias is what the truth is, to my understanding. So I am not intellectually dishonest, and I don't have a agenda or a worldview that I'm going to try and that I already have that I'm going to try to work backwards to justify. I just want to know what the truth is.
Hmm.
Um, so I looked this up because I don't even know what this is. What is the JCPOA deal? The JCPOA Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran Nuclear Deal, a 2015 international agreement between Iran and the P5 plus one countries, United States, UK, France, Russia, China, Germany. Iran agreed to dramatically limit its nuclear program for at least 10 to 15 years in exchange for the lifting of major economic sanctions. Interesting. The U.S. withdrew from the deal in 2018 under President Trump and reimposed maximum pressure sanctions. The other parties tried to keep it alive, but it has largely collapsed in practice, with Iran now enriching uranium to much higher levels and stockpiling far more material than allowed under the original deal. So you're saying that that was an essentially like a soft invitation to incite another reason to reactivate conflict.
Yeah, they wanted to reactivate the conflict because, I mean, they've always wanted to destroy Iran, get a regime change, because Iran is the most powerful country in the Middle East, pretty much. I mean, well, Israel is, but as far as military, missiles, control, like militant groups, terrorist groups that they fund and that follow their will, like,
Mm-hmm.
they are the number one big dog. So we Israel has been trying to, that's why Netanyahu has been trying to do this for like years, 30 years, you know. And the deal, the JCPOA, that was the only thing keeping peace. That's why everybody, you just said Japan, what you said, Japan, right? Germany, Russia, all them, the UK, China, we were all,
U.S., UK, France, Russia, China, Germany,
yeah. So we
and the
were
EU.
all like in that deal to keep the peace. Okay, listen, if it's about the nuke, they can't have a nuke. But it's not about the nuke. That's the thing. Israel wanted to destroy, they wanted regime change. So Israel's like, ah, shit, like, we can't use the nuke thing anymore because the deal is already set. First thing Trump does when he gets in there, gets us out of the deal and then puts massive sanctions on them. So now it's like, okay, not only,
So you're handicapping them financially.
exactly.
I see
So
what
it's
you mean.
like, so they're like, all right, well, in that case, nigga, why not build a nuke? Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Now you're like, they're like forcing them to build a nuke, or they're forcing them to do something that would alert us to go and bomb them, you know? It,
Okay, so we're manufacturing a reason.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay, I didn't know that. I will concede that point. Um, I
But
I
you're
think
not
that
wrong though. You're not wrong though. That is
I think
they
that
are.
when it comes to self-preservation,
Hmm.
we can't factor in why they're doing something. Now, if Trump removed the sanctions, I wonder if it'll give me any insight. Why did Trump remove Iran's
It's gonna give you a
sanctions?
bullshit reason.
Why did Trump remove Iran sanctions? What was the reason militarily, economically, or to incite conflict? Um, Ask it to keep it brief so it doesn't go on for freaking ever. All right. Because I'm learning some new things. I did not know about that. So let me see. Uh,
Yeah, it gets pretty deep.
U.S. withdrew from the deal in 2018. That's so odd. And then 2019 is when Epstein's home got raided and all his assets were seized and he got arrested. And
Hmm.
then he so conveniently offed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. I certainly don't. Okay, Trump did not lift the sanctions on Iran. He did the opposite. On May 8th, 2018, he withdrew the U.S. from the JCPOA and reimposed all the major sanctions that had been lifted under the deal, plus new ones. This launched the maximum pressure campaign. Trump called the JCPOA a horrible one sided deal that was defective at its core. It only delayed Iran's nuclear program, gave the regime billions of dollars in cash, and ignored Iran's ballistic missiles and support for terrorist groups, proxies across the region. The goal was economic, starve the regime of revenue, especially oil income, to force it to negotiate a stronger, permanent deal addressing all threats or collapse under the pressure. So it's weird because why would, if Obama gave Iran billions of dollars and a bunch of weapons,
Hmm.
and then Trump comes and reverses that and I think also they are the number one state sponsor of terror. So I don't want to discredit this completely and think that it was only to incite a conflict. Wasn't it also because they wouldn't stop funding terrorist groups that murdered United States citizens in different places in the world?
Well, when you that's why I say terrorist groups, like this terrorism word, like the terrorist groups are like the Hezbollah and people
The
like that,
Houthis.
the Houthis, but those are their militant groups. You know, they have control of those groups, and those group we have control of certain groups as well. I mean, we fund certain terrorist groups as well. Israel funds certain terrorist groups as well. Those are just our the people that we have over there that kind of we have control of that do. So but what they're saying is, yes, they're funding these terrorist groups, but those are also kind of like their armies. They're like their militant groups. They're not going to stop funding those groups. What Trump is saying is completely capitulate and give up all of your militant forces, all your missiles. Trump is just saying, like surrender. That's what he's saying. Just surrender everything. And Iran can't do that because then Israel would literally just come and take over. We would just come with those 40,000 and it would be over. So Trump knew that they're not going to agree to these insane terms. That's why he wanted to up the what's it called? Like the conflict. So we can win in a war in something like that and then we could take over. Because it's not about the nukes, that's the thing. It has nothing to do with the nukes. We want to take over and do a regime change. So Trump put those, and then he tried to do another, like when they were doing these deal talks recently. His what he was asking for was insane. He was like, you could never have any nukes enriched ever. You got to give up like 50 or 60% of your missiles. We're gonna put crazy sanctions on you. and they're not even trying to get them to agree to a deal.
I think that they're insane, bro.
They're not trying to get
Because
them to agree to a deal. He just wants them to either surrender or like start the war.
I think they need to go because what as soon as the U.S. did a military action on Iran, not what happened last year, but with when they when we bombed their nuclear facilities, and then we did it again just well, like 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. They immediately started bombing indiscriminately. They went after, they bombed Israel, they bombed the UAE, they bombed Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
destroyed some big oil facility there. They're just nuts. They're just attacking people just because, like, just
Well,
because they're
those
mad.
were
So, like, let's
all
just shoot bombs at everybody.
well, they're all American bases. They bombed us pretty
They
much,
did. They didn't hit. They didn't hit American bases.
but that they bombed
They hit a
us.
hotel in Saudi Arabia. What the hell
Yeah,
does that have to
in
do with
Dubai.
anything? They hit. They were hitting farms, or Dubai, excuse me.
Yeah, that's us. That's us. They're bombing us because we're bombing them. We're bombing their nuclear facilities. We're bombing like we're bombing their terrorist groups. We're killing them. We're bombing them. So this
I
is
think it's safe to
Iran.
say they're terrorist groups.
But I have to do this because it's just like everybody's a terrorist group then. I mean, we're a terrorist group, Israel's a terrorist group, everybody's like we're all fighting each other with our own interests. We all have our own religions too. So it's like, how can they be terrorist groups? They have their own agenda. We have our own agenda. Israel has their own agenda. We all have people with guns and bombs that are trying to fulfill that agenda. I don't know how someone could be a terrorist and how someone could not be. That's why I don't really like to use that
Because they
word.
target civilians. I think that's why.
We do too. We have targeted civilians too. Israel killed got 50,000, 60,000 kids and women and children in Gaza. That's civilians.
They were going after people that were using them as human shields.
They were bombing Gaza though. They were bombing the kid. They were shooting kids. They were shooting women. They were bombing them like human shields. It's like, come on, bro. This is nonsense. They're just giving they're giving crazy reasons, and it's just like,
But
bro,
what militarized group puts their underground bases under schools and civilian areas, and then they go and commit heinous acts of terrorism as a means of a countermeasure to be like, oh, they won't bomb these kids. Well, how else are they going to get to them? And also, I don't know if you've seen the videos, um, but they warn, like, there's like like they fly over the places before they bomb them and let them know, hey, we're doing precision strikes on these military operations. Like, they're bombing the individual like apartment unit for these military generals. Like, Israel is
nah,
not
nah. They bombed all of Gaza, bro.
actually.
They bombed the entire
Why
city.
is it
Like
that
it's rubble.
why is it that every single time I look for any video of the IDF explicitly deliberately targeting children, I can't find any of it?
I can show you a video of them shooting the kids going up to the food truck, bro.
Send it to me, please, because people have told me about this. I guess you can on Instagram or on Discord, but
Hmm. Oh,
I've been be
it's all on
getting.
Twitter. You have X, right?
I probably use that like once a month.
Oh, then no wonder. That's why you don't know about this. Yeah, it's all on X, bro. That's the only way you're gonna find any like
Okay,
Gaza, Israel, like what's it called? Explicit type of videos like that. It's all on X. But I mean, yeah, bro, Gaza is the whole city is rubble. It's all rubble. You can look at it from like a satellite view. It's like it just looks like a worn down, it looks like a wasteland. So you're talking about like, oh well, they're using it as a human shield. It's like a deliberate target. It's like, nah, bro, they're bombing everything. And at the World Economic Forum or World Health Forum, I forgot what it was. Jared Kushner, Trump. I mean, they're talking about, so we're gonna put a resort here, or we're gonna make this a parking lot, and we're gonna do this. They destroyed the whole place, and then they're coming with a new. They're gonna build something there, a resort. It's like this wasn't a. It's not like they tried to kill this Hamas leader and this Hamas leader, and then it's like, okay, no, they destroyed the entire place,
Now
and
that
then,
I do know of, to turn a former war. I mean, it's like
well, then they would have
let
had to destroy everything then.
let's say in a perfect world, um, it wasn't deliberate and it was an honest casualty of war of why Gaza got as decimated as you're saying it got. Because I haven't seen it myself, so just assuming that everything that you're saying is true,
Hmm.
and it got leveled as a result, solely as a result as a casualty of war,
Hmm.
you'd have to do something with it. Like you can't just sit there as rubble forever.
Yeah,
But
I'm not
if
saying
in
that.
the event that it was premeditated,
Hmm.
if like if their goal was to level this place to turn it into a giant smart city resort,
Hmm.
that's absolutely insane. That's bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like, oh, they're gonna turn to a resort that's evil. Told you that point because you were saying like, oh, they're trying to deliberately get these certain Hamas targets, and they're just deliberately bombing these apartment units singularly. But it's like, no, bro, they're coming in with the whole entire resort. They're bombing the entire place. So it's not just like an individual thing. They're destroying the whole place. So I mean, yeah, I mean even then, but I do want to get to all the points that you said, because even the Hitler thing and
Oh, go for it. Yeah, yeah. And we can move on to that.
yeah, I forgot all the points you were talking about Nick Fuentes, but what's it called? That I think that's just a little bit more nuanced. Um, and then the Epstein thing you said too. Well, I mean, because so the thing with Epstein on that video when he was like he's not a pedophile because they were 16. I mean, that is just true. By the way, that is just a fact. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. That is just true.
A 50-year-old man
Well,
going after
they're not
girls
children.
that sex trafficking children.
They're not
The,
children. They're not
four,
children.
14 to 6. I was a child when I was 16.
Well, this just goes back to our other conversation, but it's the point is
But what is even the point?
this is the point. This is
A
the
sick
point.
monster that was abusing kids on an island through some Disney line cruise ship and procuring these minors so that he could have his way with them sexually is one of the most predatory, sexually deviant things I could have imagined. So why even
Well, this
go
is the
out on a
point.
limb?
The point is that the Epstein files and Epstein's whole plan, it was what's it called? Deliberately like taking over our government and getting people to do certain things. And there's probably a lot of laws or a lot of things that we're living in today that was a product of this Epstein, spy campaign. And all of these things politically that they were able to do, and all the political leaders and past presidents that they were able to, control with these things. That that's what the Epstein disaster is. That's what the dilemma is. But he was saying women saw the Epstein files and their takeaway was, oh, he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile. These kids were underage. And it's like, that's just so besides the point. Like, that's besides the whole point. The point is, we're living in a government, we're living in a country that has been psyoped by this. Yes, you're right. Sick monster freak. Absolutely. He's an insane individual. But he controlled our government to do all these things. Him being a pedophile, the girls being
You're saying that's the
underage.
least of it.
Yeah, that's like besides the point. That's what he was saying. And then he was like, he's not even a pedophile, by the way. And like we said, the 14, 16 age of consent, however you want to call it, child thing, that's pretty much is just like they he was like the women kind of like manipulated the whole thing. They like took over the whole Epstein thing into being like, oh, it's about the pedophilia, it's about the age, it's about the girls, it's about how could he do this to them. And now it's like the whole psyop of our government doing all these things under this spy's control is just like now taking the back seat to this. The kids were 16. It's like, bro, you
So
know what
they're
I'm
more
saying?
worried. So you're saying that the focus has shifted from the government allowing and cooperating the stuff to happen into, like, it's been distilled down into Epstein bad instead of the government was allowing Epstein bad.
Epstein pedophile instead of Epstein took over our government and passed all these things and did all these things. Because I mean, we if we talk about Epstein, what is people going to say? He was a pedophile. Yeah, how could he do that to the little girls? They already took over the conversation. It's already about children and what age they are. The man that took over our whole government, like all of our laws, all these things we're doing, probably bombing whatever country,
COVID, the transgender
COVID,
agenda.
all that has now been deduced to this guy was a pedophile. It's like, bro, that's the point. I mean, that's the point on
Well,
that.
to
But
that's fair and valid, but I think to call somebody that sex trafficked and slept with 14-year-old girls when he was like 60 years old, that's a pedophile. That's disgusting. You're some nasty, slimy, hairy old man, and you're taking advantage of somebody that is completely mentally underdeveloped, and you are fornicating with them against their will. Like, you're a satanic beast. Like,
so
that's
yeah,
nuts.
I think he's a beast for sure. I mean, I agree, he's a monster. But like I said, I mean, it all depends where if we want to like really get nitpicky with the pedophile word. It just depends where you would think somebody isn't a child, what age they don't become a child. But I just think that's just besides the point. I mean, he's already a monster, so it's just like, you know, I don't think we even need to go to the, oh well, they were this age. He's a monster as it is. And then on top of that, he's doing all these things to our country to where we're in these conflicts because of him, and we did these things because of him, and he's going to dinner with our presidents, and it's just like, okay, well, what happened? You know what I'm saying? It's like a man came into our house or my house or your house, and he was controlling everything in our house, became a disaster, and then we're like finding out in the papers and the law, like whatever the history of the case about all the stuff he was doing. And then on one of the pages it was like he was sleeping with 14-year-old girls and he trafficked them. And then the whole thing became about he's a pedophile. But I'm like, wait, hold on. I want to figure out why our house turned into a disaster. Like, what did he do? What did he get us to do? What is in the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, he slept with 14-year-olds. It's like, okay, who cares? Well, not who cares, but it's just like, that's just not the biggest point.
Mm.
But
It's secondary to the co-opting of our
yeah, because we're
it
still
country's
living in it.
entire direction.
We're still living in it. That's why. So it's like we still have to figure these things out. So, but that's with that. With the Hitler
Okay.
stuff and the Holocaust stuff. I mean, yeah, I get that part. Well, number one, he never said 6 million didn't die. He never did say that. But the part about the Holocaust is just that it it has been kind of psyoped and manipulated to be something that it really wasn't. So
Hmm.
that's why people go back and forth on that. I just, I mean, if we have the discussion, the discussion itself is banned in like a lot of countries. So
Which
that's,
discussion? Oh, okay, I get what you mean.
yeah. So that's why, people have a problem with it and people like go into it and are kind of curious and like get bad feelings about it because yeah, I mean you can't even talk about it in most places, especially like how many people died and things like that. But the Hitler part, when he said Hitler is cool, he was saying that what he was doing, like his outfits, And Kanye said this too. This is like what Kanye what got so like he liked Hitler so much because he got all of these outfits, the Hugo Boss outfits. He made it this stoic uniform for the Nazis, and they Hitler was because he was Hitler was an artist, so Hitler made an emphasis on how his people looked, how they dressed. He tried to make it as aesthetic as possible. That's why they have like the Hitler edits of them, and then they're marching and stuff, and they got the boots. And then Hitler, the second part is he took it upon himself to go from the Weimar Republic, which had all these, bad, degenerate things, and he took it upon himself to put his race first and put his people first and take over. And he was just saying that he was cool because, kind of in that way, he was just cool. But when it comes to the morality context, because I don't believe Hitler was a Christian, and they said he used Christianity to kind of collectivize Germany, which is like very political and stuff. So I mean, nobody really believes that he was a Christian though, because the things he did was very crazy. But just in the sense context of history, that's what he's saying. Because if I said Julius Caesar was cool, nobody would really care. They wouldn't be like, that's crazy. If I said like George Washington was cool or some other historical leader was cool. But when you say Hitler's cool, it's just like, oh, this is insane. This is crazy. You need to be
Because
arrested.
there's white supremacy and mass genocide that's attached to it.
Well, there's mass genocide from most leaders. Most world leaders have committed mass genocide. Hitler, I mean, if we want to say it's 6 million, that's not even the highest death total as far as a world leader. I mean, Joseph Stalin had more than that. Mao Zedong had more than that from China. So it's just like,
It wasn't conquering though. It wasn't land grabs. It was I
of
hate
course it
you
was.
for your race, and we're going to do experiments on you and drug you up with meth and kill your babies and then put you in gas chambers and
Well, the gas
just
chambers. See, that's the thing. A lot of this stuff, it just didn't happen, though. The gas chambers isn't. I don't think that's a.
so so Auschwitz just isn't it's just not real. It's just a fake place.
No, Auschwitz is real. They did what's it called, experiments, and they went and studied Auschwitz. They didn't find any Cyclone B gas that was like high enough to even justify that there was gas chambers. Then the gas chambers had like wooden doors, and it's just like, okay, this couldn't have happened. And then they just I don't even want to go through all of it, but I mean, Auschwitz was on water, right? There was water underneath the land to where they couldn't have even had these mass graves and lighting them on fire like they said they did, because that wouldn't have been like scientifically possible. Then they're saying like they turned them into lampshades and they turned them into soap bars, and all these people that said they were in the Holocaust and is Auschwitz with these crazy stories, they're all now like starting to come out like, oh, that was fake, that didn't happen. There was a couple that said we met at Auschwitz, and they were like on Oprah or something, and they're like, we met at Auschwitz and we were both getting tortured and we found love. And then it came out to say like, oh, actually this guy was like on the other side of the world while this is going on. This is fake. And there's been so many things, but it's just like, why are they faking this? And why?
I won't deny that there's definitely a propagandized aspect of it.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, they're building this thing up. Why are they boosting it? And then if you say it's not 6 million that died, you could go to jail for a lot of places. David Irving was I don't know if you know David Irving. He was like a
Mm-mm.
journalist, and he was looking these things up and he was asking questions. They threw him in jail for like 3 years. So there is no, I mean, October 7th, we could say this amount of people died, this amount of people died, we'll be good. The Holodomor, you could say it was 8 million, it was 6 million, nobody cares. But Holocaust, 6 million, or you're going to jail. It's like, okay, what's up with this? That's really the question, is
Yeah.
what's up with this?
That's fair. That's
you know.
fishy.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tragedy. I don't agree with racism or being against somebody. I mean, religion. That's kind of a tough subject, but I don't agree with violence. I mean, I'm a Christian, so you know.
Well, I don't I don't want it to the interpretation to be, oh, I categorically I hate Nick Fuentes. I have some personal vendetta against him. I can't stand the guy.
His
I don't.
ideas.
I don't. It's not even about him or so much his ideas. I don't care. I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what he does. My issue is
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
when he's going to make Christianity a part of his brand, and it's like an aspect of him, and one of the biggest selling points of being a fan, I guess, of his is that he's a Catholic and he takes his faith so seriously, and the things that he says, the way that he speaks, and what he does, when I don't see Christ in him. I'm talking to him. I mean, not talking to him. When I'm listening to him, I mean, and I'm watching his streams because it's not like I'm not somebody that saw a couple clips of him and then I formed an opinion. I
Hmm.
saw the clips about him made me like him. I thought he was hilarious. I thought him saying the N-word and weighing half and all that stuff. I thought that was really funny. Like when he's debating with Withers and he's calling him gay and he's like, oh, really? You want to do this? That? And like that was really funny. So then I started listening to him, started watching him, started listening to the things that he was saying, and his long form. I probably went on like a 4 to 6 month like fan. I had like a fan arc of him where I was just learning more about him and how he was like completely ostracized from the Daily Wire for asking certain questions. And I have certain questions because I'm not a categorical, you know, Israel defender. I don't have anything categorically against them either.
Hmm.
My issues with Israel start and end with APAC and their influence on American politicians to act in their best interest. Now, I
Hmm.
pray for the peace of Jerusalem. I understand that that is the Holy Land, is where Jesus walked. So I don't want, I don't have any ill will. I don't want the homeland of my Lord and Savior to be desecrated or disrespected or turn into a freaking war zone. I don't want that to happen. But also, what the sand people do in the sand place has no bearing on me as an American. That's not my issue. Now, what really makes me uncomfortable and frustrated is when we have Israel first politicians that are asked, are you working more in the best interest of America or in the best interest of Israel? And then they can't answer that question with zero hesitancy. And then we have like, I don't even, it's like 80 people in Congress that have dual citizenship to Israel. Why? Why just that place? There's something weird about that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with inquiring why that is. And anybody that tries to shut down a conversation like that, like Ben Shapiro, I cannot stand his ass. I don't like Ben Shapiro at all. I think he's a retard. And I think that he's even admittedly said he is in America for the best interest of Israel.
Hmm.
He said that straight out of his mouth. I'm like, what? Why didn't go to Israel then? Take your punk ass and your little yarmulke or whatever it's called, and get your ass to Israel then. If you want to work in their best interest, and if you want to prioritize their needs over the needs of American citizens, while you're sipping your little coffee from your Eiffel Tower with your big show and all your big donors, and you're talking down to American citizens about how much you prefer or you want to work within the best interest of the nation state of Israel over your country, that's ridiculous. I'm not somebody that, because I'm majority black, I don't side with black people. I side with my country. You're supposed to, I think nationalism needs to be your top priority, especially if you are a political, if you're, I don't know if pundit's the right word, a political commentator, political agitator, whatever realm of influence that you want to prescribe to somebody like a Ben Shapiro. So those are where my issues start and end. But I guess to bring it back to Nick Fuentes, I think that there is a problem with the indiscriminate blaming of Jews as a pejorative, because I've never met a Jewish person in my real life that I didn't like, that I didn't think was a cool person. And I think there's too much of a inclusion of Jew as like a slur, or like to group them in as a generalization, because me and you as American citizens, we're not responsible for the actions of the United States government. We don't have any influence on that. We don't control that. That is not something that we can affect, and most people don't even agree with a lot of the things that our country does. So to also blame Jewish people because, and to treat them poorly, or say like the Jews are responsible for everything, I think it's painting with such broad of a brush that you are creating needless prejudice and racism where it shouldn't be. I think there needs to be more of a focus on, and a separation of the Israeli government
Mhm.
versus Israelis, because there were even Charlie Kirk talked about this when he was questioning how in the world does October 7th even happen, when it's a complete surveillance state and you can't go 20 feet without somebody having an AK-47 or a machine gun, and there's all this technology and they completely monitor and measure everybody that goes in and out of the country. How is this even possible to happen? So not only that, um, oh damn it, I lost my train of thought. I freaking hate when that happens. I was about to make my last point. Um, Damn. Oh, but there's such a fixation on Jews. Jews did X. Jews control X. Certain Jews do, because the other thing that Charlie Kirk said, I'm remembering it now. They were on the brink of like a civil war. Like there were mass protests in the streets against the Israeli government for, I don't remember the granular specifics of what it is they were doing, but there was a lot of agitation and frustration, and the people were in staunch opposition to whatever the government was doing. And I think it was like 2020, 2021, like kind of that period 4 or 5 years ago. So I think that he makes he gives people that he doesn't like a Laura Loomer, for example, ammo to like continue shitting on him, because he's not making that separation. Because I love my country. I hate my government. I hate it. So I'm sure there are Israelis that love Israel, hate their government, probably really dislike Netanyahu. They don't like things that the IDF does. And when that separation or that distinction isn't made, it turns into, random Jewish friends of mine sending me DMs about calling them stupid K words. And I hope you watch your whole family get raped by the IRGC, like you worthless Jewish goblin. Like, so only because they found out that they've either been to Israel, that they're Jewish, um, or that they have family there. And it's like, it creates this cesspit of just not goalpost moving, but like not sticking to the mission. If you have issues with what the Israeli government is doing, you think they're terrorists, you think that they have a greater Israel plan, that's wonderful. Make that distinction, because there's a lot of like, I don't know if you know this lady. Her name is Sasha Jade. She's a really cool Jewish lady. She just lives in Israel. She's not even political. She doesn't care. She just goes to work, takes care of her child, and is just a normal working person, and gets like, she kind of popped off a little bit because all she was doing was posting her death threats for doing nothing but existing as a Jewish person. I think as Christians, we have a responsibility to kind of acknowledge and retract that, because that's not being Christ-like. Treating somebody like, I have a lot of problems with Muslims. It's not because they're Arab. There's millions of Christian Muslims out there. It's a problem with their religion. It's the ideology. It's the culture that they hail from. It's where, they view 6-year-old and 9-year-old little girls as fit to be wives, and women have, absolutely no worth or value. And that's completely, antithetical to Christian ethics, because the Bible says a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. And wives submit to their husbands as husbands submit to their wives in certain aspects. And it's not Like they completely view women as like second class citizens and poverty. I certainly don't do that. I don't think women should vote. I think that there's a lot of, maybe not a lot, but there's a good amount of rights that if I was in power, I would remove from women. I would completely dispel this whole boss babe agenda and the necessity for the two um the dual income homes of, just double taxing the home and taking away the nurturing of a mother with a family's children, so that that could be their priority, instead of also, not having a choice in most aspects but having to contribute financially because of the engineering of the destruction of our economy. So I mean, there's a lot of things that I would do, but I also don't view women as second class citizens, like, Muslims and just the kind of the entire theocratic ideology of just the Muslim religion, kind of as a pejorative. But
Okay,
I
let me respond to that Jewish point real quick though.
go ahead.
So the thing is though, you can't just make it about Israel and you can't just make it about Israelis because Israel started in 1948. You know, this thing that's been happening with Jews has been way further than 1948. I mean, we were just talking about Hitler. That was yeah, that was in the 40s, that was in the 30s. There's been problems, these same things um that Jews have been doing throughout like the whole history, honestly. So it can't just be about Israel because Israel just got made, but the problems that people have been having with Jews haven't just been started. I mean, this has always been happening. So when you look at problems that people are having in America or just society in general, feminism, mass migration, homosexuality, transgenderism, things like that. When you go into who's starting these things, you find Jews, you find Jewish people, you find Jewish think tanks, you find Jewish campaigns. When you look at like who was behind the civil rights movement, that was kind of like a Trojan horse for a lot of these things. Jewish people were behind that. When you look who was behind feminism, first, second, and third wave, Jews were behind that. When you look at who was behind, um, who's in Hollywood that's making all these degenerate movies and making these degenerate TV shows that are like shitting on Jesus and doing all these things. Jews were behind that. Jews are making all these things. They're creating them. Who's behind the music and the rap and the
See, the framing of
degeneracy?
that is what I disagree with.
Well, it's all Jewish people. So
Jew-
it,
Jewish individuals and small communities of Jewish elite people with their own nefarious
but
intentions.
how does it? How is that though? How and then okay, so we look at porn. Every
Mhm.
single like all 140 something porn sites are owned all by Jewish people. So
This is true.
at what point is it like okay, it's just I'm not even saying it's all Jews. I mean Nick Fuentes is friends with a lot of some Jewish people. It's not even just it's
Mhm.
all Jews. It's just everything that we look at that we disagree with that we have a problem with is Jewish. So it's like at some point okay, it can't just be like okay this is just this one thing because out of all those problems even if you were to just say let's take away this Jewish whole thing that we're putting on everybody and let's just go after the problems that we disagree with you would be like going against Jewish everything you would be going against would just be Jewish. You go against this feminism thing, you're going to get attacked by a think tank or a group and they're going to be Jewish. You go against that's what Kanye did. He didn't even know about Jews or Hitler or any of that. He just knew he was getting wrecked by his music deal. He was getting wrecked by Hollywood and his managers and his record producers were all doing him in and he was like, "You know what? I'm going to retaliate against these people." And who came after him? Jews, because that's who was doing it. And so he's like, okay, these are the people that are doing me in. Well, then F Jews then. And that's when it was like, F Jews. And then they were like, oh, okay. And it turned into a thing. But he didn't know about all this. I mean, and people kind of, Hitler was the same way. Um, he didn't really know about Jews. He didn't really understand any of that stuff. but he just saw his people were getting replaced, mass migration was happening, crazy inflation was taking place, and all these things. And everywhere he turned to try to fix the problem, he said he would find Jews doing it. And it's just like, you try not to generalize, you try not to stereotype, but it's like, okay, everything I'm trying to stop here, these same people are doing it. It's not all Jews, but you know, it,
There's enough points on the graph to make a line.
yeah, honestly. So it's like, is this their agenda? Is this just what they believe? Who knows? But that's as far as it is for me. I don't have a problem with Jews. I disagree with Judaism. I disagree with their ideas and their ideals, but I don't hate Jews as people though. I love everybody. I'm Christian. We got to love everybody. So that's what it is for me. It can't just be Israel. That's my thing.
I guess not that I disagree with anything that you just said because I don't, but I guess that same line of thinking could be used to like there's been so many countries that the United States has deliberately destabilized and has moved like a mafia. And it's like, pay us for your protection or we will destroy you. Like it's literally just extortion.
Hmm.
So it's like how many like that has happened in so many different aspects. And our like again, our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness and principalities in high places.
Hmm.
And why is it that we find like the average Jewish person, wherever they live in the world, wherever their citizenship status is, that individual is not remotely related to this cabal of Jewish elites that run the entertainment industry and the banking system, and surveillance state, and are these CEOs of these giant companies, and they're making these billion-dollar deals, and they're trying to corrode and pervert
Well, that's a
um,
pretty big cabal
differences.
then. It's a
It's
pretty big cabal because I mean
it's weird.
CNN,
I
Fox
just
News, ABC, CBS. You got every music industry, everything, Hollywood, all the
but
movies,
those
all the
people,
banks.
these cabals, there's so many different layers of removal from the average Jewish person. And like if you most American Jewish people, they don't even believe in the nation state of Israel. They don't even support it. Have you seen do you know who Tyler Oliveira is?
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler Oliveira.
Hmm.
Um did you see his video on that community in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay. When he was asking them about Israel, there were like 8, 9 different people that all were like, "Yeah, we don't agree with the state of Israel at all." Not that I agree with them, in a perpetual welfare state to have 10 kids and go to the synagogue for 10 hours a day.
Hmm.
I have an issue with that as well. But
Yeah, but and I know what you're saying because they do have a lot of people don't agree with Netanyahu in Israel, and they do have protests, but they disagree on a different level. They disagree on more of a technical, practical level. They all have the same goal in mind, though. They all agree with the same social norms, which we don't agree with. They all agree with that, but they just don't agree with the way that the Likud party, which is Netanyahu's party, is going about things. They think he's um
no,
too
they don't believe that Israel should exist as a nation state.
they don't think Israel should exist. Who said that? What
No,
Jews? Who said that? What
there's
Jew said
millions of them.
that?
I had a 4-hour conversation
Because they
with
don't
I
like
don't
how it's being. They don't like how it's being
no,
ran.
no. In Judaism, they don't believe that they are allowed to reclaim
The
this
land.
Israel,
Okay.
the land of Israel.
Well, I mean
Like
that's
they fundamentally aren't okay with that. I don't. Do you know who Politodoxy is?
nah.
Okay, he had a he had a really big page. His page is bigger than mine. I think it was at 200K on Instagram. But he's a Orthodox Jewish guy that is
Hmm.
completely anti-Zionist, America first,
Oh yeah, I know
and
about the Orthodox Jews. Yeah, they don't agree with. Yeah, I know what you're
they'd
saying.
like,
But
yeah,
here's the
they're
thing.
just in staunch opposition.
Here's the thing though, and okay, let's say, but because Israel just started in 1948, like I said, so even if that's what they do believe, it's not like Judaism is going to end. It's not like all the other stuff they believe in is going to come to an end. It's not like they don't believe in trans. I mean, the first trans surgery was done by a Jew way before Israel was even made. So we still have to deal with our differences in that way. Those things are still true. But even then, though, talking about what would you say with the? Oh yeah, so dang, what was I gonna say? I just forgot my point.
I hate when I do that.
Yeah, bro. You were talking about Tyler Oliveira and then the Jews that came in, the Orthodox Jews. Dang, I forgot
The,
what I was gonna say.
uh, I think this, like, your point spawned from me saying how many layers of removal there were from just a normal Jewish citizen,
Hmm.
from these elites that run these giant hegemonies and monopolies of media and entertainment. Um, but the Bible does say something very interesting. I'm frustrated at myself that I can't quote what it is. But a lot of people mention the synagogue of Satan and
Hmm.
Jews that call themselves Jews but are not. And my question is, as a Christian, do you have any sort of insight or feeling one way or the other to do you think that these Jewish people that run porn and that run the music industry and that pervert Western culture and that are for the transgenderism and the destabilization of the country and the ADL and
SPLC.
that's Jewish too?
Hmm.
You're lying.
All these groups, all these isms and groups are all Jewish. That's what I'm saying, bro. But
Okay. Do you think? I guess my question would be: would you say that those are like everything that is corrosive to society that Jewish people have a hand in or that are almost the perpetrators of, would you say that those people are the ones that call themselves Jews but are not?
well, what is a Jew?
What's a good way to frame this answer from my perspective? I think, I mean, in the book of Matthew, it said Jesus himself says that those who like a true Jew is one who acknowledges me as God, as God the Son.
So are
Um,
we Jews?
I guess. Yeah, because if we were adopted into the family of Abraham as the wild olive branches,
Hmm.
then I guess definitionally we would, because God does not break covenants, and if we are grafted into the family that was set apart to not be of this world, to go out to all the nations and to make disciples, and with
Hmm.
the Great Commission.
I agree. I agree. We are Jews because it is those who believe in Christ. That's what he said. But as far as the Jews of today that we're talking about, like the Jews, what makes them Jews?
You know what's weird is it's they have like there's so many different layers. Like it goes through the mother instead of the father,
Hmm.
and there's ethnic Jews, and then there's religious Jews,
Hmm.
and then there's people that are still called Jews solely because they practice Judaism, even though they're like 5% ethnically Jewish. So I don't even I think they use the gray area of that as a means to like hide behind Jewish persecution
Hmm.
to maybe continue the corrosiveness that they have a hand in society.
Okay.
So
So when Christ was crucified and um the people that turned away from him, that said that he's not Christ. Those would be the Jews. The people that denied Christ would be the Jews, and then the people like the
The religious
apostles.
elite,
What do you mean?
like the religious elite of the time that
No, it wasn't.
denied.
No, no, no. That was Pontius Pilate. I mean, those people were
Pontius
secular.
Pilate was a Roman general
Yeah, he
or
was
a Roman
secular.
governor.
Yeah, he was secular. I'm talking about the because remember, Judaism was going on at that time. When Jesus came, he was like, "Hey, I'm the one that's supposed to fulfill the covenant of this
The
book
Mosaic
you guys
Law.
been reading. Yeah, that's me. The book you guys been reading. Yeah, that's me." But the people that are reading that book, some of them it split. Some of them was like, "No, you're not. You're not that guy."
Mm-hmm.
And then the other people were like, "It's that guy." Those people that were like, "It's that guy." Those are Christians. The other people that were like, "You're not that guy."
So
Those are
you're
what
saying
we
that
call
they're the
Jews.
Jews,
Those are what we call Jews, as in today,
the deniers.
be the deniers.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if God is good and Jesus is God and you deny God, then what is going to come? Because Judaism, that's what it is. Judaism is just we're waiting on our Messiah to come. The Jesus Christ wasn't our Messiah. We're waiting for him to come, right? That's what Judaism is. So if you deny God and God is good, whatever stems from that, whatever comes from that, there's no way that it can be good. And this is more of a deeper point on what I mean will get you in trouble. That's what Nick kind of talks about. But it's just something to think about because however these people are Jewish, and that's the thing, it's like because then you would need to know, are they from the bloodline? Do they actually descend from these people? Those things, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we would be able to figure that out. But as far as this thing that they all follow, Judaism, and the idea of, this Jewish nation and stuff like that, well,
Mm-hmm.
if if that was against Jesus, then I mean, there's only nothing good could come from that. Now, do all Jews follow that? Of course not. Some Jews, there is messianic Jews that follow Jesus. There's some Jews that don't even like any of that. So that's why I'm not going to say all Jews, but if that idea of those people that dismiss Jesus and denied Jesus and went and did their own thing, and that's the idea that you followed, well, I mean, we all know that if you deny God, whatever thing you make from there. So that's why I feel like we look at porn, Jewish. We look at transgenderism, Jewish. We look at homosexuality, Jewish. We look at feminism, Jewish. We look at all these bad things, and it's like, dang, why can't it be like homeless shelter for the homeless that's helping us, Jewish, or like spending money for veterans that are helping our country, Jewish? It's like only the worst of the worst things. Nothing that's actually like great, like charity that's just given away for the kids. Like that's never the case. You know what I'm saying? So that's that's you're not gonna get this take from everybody. This is very complex, nuanced. Thought about this for a while. Read Bible type of take, but yeah. But even then, you wouldn't be able to extrapolate that to every Jew, and then we would still have to do a lot more research to figure out well who actually fits into that category. But just as far as the Jewish this cabal we're talking about, the Jewish influence, you know, that Jewish influence in that cabal, I think that's where it comes from.
The reason why it's kind of not a sticky situation to talk about, but um, in Revelations, all the Jewish people that are going to, in the tribulation period after the rapture of the church, that are going to be the sole witnesses of Christ, that are going to go out throughout the world. And people, there are Jewish people, the ones that deny Christ, they deny Christ for a reason. God is perfect and sovereign, and He has a plan. So so you saying that everything that they touch because they deny God, which is all good.
Hmm.
That is a reasonable, logical conclusion to come to. Not that it necessarily is conflicting with Scripture, but I do know that
And
there's a reason that they deny Christ.
anything that they touch in like from the denial of God, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess it would be. I mean, everything they touch, I guess. Yeah, but my bad. You keep going.
Oh, you're good. I know that biblically the denial of Christ is for a reason, and this is going to make me really lock in to make sure that I memorize these verses and where I'm citing this from because um, specificity
Hmm.
is uh, is evidence of mastery. So I've made a video about this on my Instagram. I could like while you're making your next point, I guess I could scroll through and see if I could find it. But I know that there's a specific reason why Jewish people, certain uh, certain communities of them, deny Christ, like, and that's like their whole bag. Their whole religious ideology is the denial of Christ, and that they are going to have their Messiah, which is going to be the Antichrist.
Hmm.
But from what I understand biblically, is that God is ordaining that to make room for the Gentiles. And I don't have a logical way of reasoning out why that is. I mean, I'm not smarter than God. I can't understand his complexity.
Hmm.
But I've been taught for a long time to not be angry at the Jews because God put scales over their eyes so that the Gentiles could see, well, if you people come from the same, like the same bloodline as Christ, and you're denying him, yet we believe in him. It's like I don't know, maybe it's like incentive to trust God, because if humans didn't have free will, it would be, and God wants all to come to deliverance, and so that none shall perish.
Hmm.
But the reality is that there are sons of the devil, and that there are people that it doesn't matter how much evidence they see, it doesn't matter how much conviction they see, that like they could see that our entire government is ran by a satanic child eating cabal that sacrifices to demons and that harvests aborted baby parts for adrenochrome, and they sell their body parts on the black market, and they have these disgusting like longevity pills that they make, and they drink their blood, and it's like all this sick, demonic, nonsensical, evil stuff that is only stemming from something that is completely rooted in Lucifer. Like we can see that blatantly, and it comes out from the Department of Justice that they're self-reporting this is what is going on in these emails with these high-profile people, and you're still gonna deny God. Like the people at the highest heights of infamy and power and influence and money, that can do anything that they want to. They can hire a hitman for somebody and nothing will ever happen to them because they're just these untouchable people. That's a reality. That's what's in your face. Everything is a psyop. Everything is fake and gay. Transgenderism, all of the um, racial division that we have in the country. It's all manufactured, fabricated, and people can see that. And it doesn't, no amount of evidence will make them believe that Christ is real. And I don't know why God hardens the hearts of men. I don't know why he puts scales over their eyes. But I don't know if you've been taught differently, but me biblically, at least, in the family that I grew up in, I was always taught not to be angry at Jewish people for their disbelief in Christ, because God is allowing this to happen. He's allowing this to happen because for whatever reason in God's sovereignty, He's making room for the Gentiles.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I mean,
I wish I knew how that works.
yeah, I mean, I agree because I think in the Bible it also says like God has a plan for the Jews
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day. So I agree. I just feel like um we just have to deal with we just have to deal with it for now. Like for what it is, we got to deal with. I mean, if we can come to an agreement that yeah, they're on some bullshit, but we gotta, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we still gotta love them and God got a plan. Then I think we'd be good. But the problem is people, they just don't see any of this. Like you said, they don't believe in
Mm,
God at all. They don't see any of this plan or this outlook or anything. So that's more of the dangerous part. But if we understand good and evil and the whole story and everything like that, and we know what, because then you would know, okay, well, I should be staying away from Hollywood, or oh, then I need to stop listening to this rap music, and I need to stop. You'll wake up to the whole picture. So
mm.
I think that's really what it is. But man, I gotta go to the gym, bro. We've been on this for a minute. It was a great stream
I
though.
kid you not, I kid you not, I was about to tell you that I gotta hurry up and get to the gym too.
Yeah, man, we've been on here, but it was a great stream, bro. I mean, you're a cool
It was
guy.
too.
I'm glad we
I
had this
appreciate it, bro.
combo. We can always I think we can run up some more content, bro. I feel like
Yeah,
we could do
totally.
some good work together.
Absolutely. I'd be super down to talk to you again. I have no fundamental, qualms, issues. I think you're really funny. I think you are very talented at what you do. God gave you a gift for a reason. He gave you a voice, and I think that you're using it, and you're absolutely a net positive to the movement of waking people up from this evil sickness that we have been plagued with in our society. So I totally talk to you again. That'd be awesome.
Appreciate it, bro. I feel the same for you, bro. You're a great man. You're talented. You got all these things. I like the anime, but we got
Appreciate you,
a
brother.
whole bunch of other stuff we got to talk about too. Because I'll be
Heck
watching
yeah.
anime, the black community, we didn't cover that. We got a whole bunch of stuff. So I feel
Absolutely.
like we could do another one of these. But hey, man, it was nice talking to you, bro. You have a good
You
rest
as
of your
well,
day.
brother.
I'll see you
You
soon,
too,
man.
broski. Alrighty, bro.
Let's get it, guys.